because I'm familiar with this because of Chuck, at Phi-Sci, they had I think he was 40 years old this past year.
Wow.
Single guy was their house dad for Phi-Sci in Lincoln.
Nice.
Very good.
And
That's sick.
he lived in the house. He took, cooked and all that stuff and then in and out. And
Honestly.
You're really giving your life at that point to the fraternity.
Well, also, okay, think about
It's
it.
actually a very commendable thing to do.
If you are, and the guy was single, I mean, he was probably in a relationship, but he was single. He didn't have like a family.
I would imagine you would have to be.
You get free housing.
Yeah.
You get free food.
Yeah.
You just have to work for it.
Free booze.
But you got a great location where you live in Lincoln.
Yep.
You're around college kids. You're 40 years old.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily like
you could spend,
the selling point.
You could spend
you
as
got
much
fraternities and sororities all around you.
Yeah, you could spend as much time or as little time as you want around the actual fraternity.
This is a great movie.
House Dad.
Yeah, that is. I mean, we don't make movies like that anymore.
We'll get that behind. We'll get that behind Con Air 2, Dumb Moon.
Yeah, we don't do comedy movies the way we used to do comedy movies. I mean,
that's because we do remakes of The Running Man.
Yeah, I've heard about this. I've seen this and I've heard about this. Fortunately, I haven't seen the original Running Man.
I don't think Glenn Powell can be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but in terms of the effects, I believe that the effects will be a little bit better 40 years later. Because if you went back in quote-unquote 1980s CGI, that was rough.
What happened in Running Man? What is that movie about?
Man competes on a game show to... basically the network is going to kill him on the air.
Cool.
And he has to not get killed.
It was when it came out, and I saw it well after it came out. It was a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Based on a Stephen King short story, right?
Yeah. Are they just going to...
Okay, so I think every movie ever, yes.
So here it is. I'm going to read the Google review as I like to do. In the year 2019, this is set in the year 2019. This movie came out in 1987. America is a totalitarian state where the favorite television program is The Running Man, a game show in which prisoners must run to freedom to avoid a brutal death. Having been made a scapegoat by the government, an imprisoned Arnold Schwarzenegger has the opportunity to make it back to the outside again by being a contestant on the deadly show, although the twisted host, Richard Dawson, has no intention of letting him escape.
This sounds like a Stanley Tucci role.
It was a great movie, but it's going to look, like I think they'll correct some of the effects, but it was I don't know. I liked Running Man. I saw it like 15 years after it came out.
I gotta say, I do love a high concept. I love a high concept movie. Ooh. Like that. That's how to get me in there. I love a great an off the wall concept.
You like a dystopia type movie, is what you're saying?
You're changing the traditional functionalities of Earth.
Connor Happer's the first.
It doesn't have to be dystopian. I'm just saying, like, you're changing the common functions of the way that you live.
Are you a big George Orwell fan?
Yeah.
Did you have to read 1984?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, yeah. All the books.
That's what this sounds like. It sounds like Connor Happer from George Orwell.
That's not crazy. I like concept movies.
I know. I'm there. I'm just giving you crap. But...
So I think Severe is a big Running Man fan.
Yeah, there was a lot of chatter about the Running Man yesterday.
He goes, Bishop, of course, Glenn Powell can't do what Arnold Schwarzenegger did because Powell can actually act.
Glenn Powell can act.
Yeah.
Glenn Powell can act.
I don't know, man. Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God! Stop it! Don't make that face. He's not a good actor.
I mean,
he's not good. In Terminator, wasn't acting. He was just walking around, and then I'll be back. And then, like, what in the Expendables? He's just running around. And he goes, "Get in the chopper."
Did you ever see Kindergarten Cop?
No,
he was pretty good in that.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Twins?
Look, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, The Rock before The Rock, because The Rock just plays The Rock in every movie.
Junior.
Oh yeah,
he got pregnant. That's right. He got pregnant.
I don't know why I did not. Like I thought maybe an Oscar would be coming.
You know who can act?
Go Chargers!
I hate it that we put
Chargers go.
We put Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger together, right? Like, they should not be grouped together.
Wait, you think Sylvester Stallone is good?
I think Sylvester Stallone is a great actor.
Whoa.
This is weird.
Do you think
what's the difference?
What do you mean, what is the difference?
Who would have played Rambo better?
Wrote Rocky, wrote a beautiful piece, right? Yeah, and he acted incredibly well in it, and he gave you emotion, and it was like very like back and forth. He made it very
did
complicated.
no such thing.
Very complicated. I used to hold you right here.
Listen,
I used to tell you,
Matt.
I used to tell everybody, this kid's going to be better than anyone before him, right? And you grew up well and fine, but somewhere along the way, you started pointing the finger, all right? You started letting people get in front of you, all right? The world is a mean, mean place. It will knock you down to your knees and not let you get back up.
I don't
subtlety.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what you're trying to convince people of here, because there's no doubt Rocky is good. The Rocky movies are great. You have to, kind of accept some things about them. But it's not because of Sylvester Stallone's acting.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Whose acting then is it about?
It's not about anyone's acting, period. Some of the worst acting of all time actually happens in Rocky.
Stop.
Have you met my friend Adrian? She is horrendous.
Love
I'm
a 5'10"
sorry.
world champ.
Yeah. We had to say it.
I'm just saying. I like Sly. I'm a Sly guy. I'm not an Arnie guy.
Yeah, but you
Arnie
can't.
and The Rock.
Don't sit here and tell me that he's a great actor.
He is a good actor.
He's not.
He is.
He
Singularly is a good actor and a very good writer.
I enjoyed the movies. Not a good actor.
He's a good director.
Well, once again, not particularly convoluted in terms of.
Prepare yourself for the year of Glenn Powell, because Chad Powers comes out in
I
the
thought
fall.
that happened.
Well, they were going to
Yeah.
release it during the summer, and then someone got smart and said, he can't really promote this on College Game Day if it's in the middle of the summer. You need to release it during football season.
But I'm sorry.
It's coming.
I thought the year of Glenn Powell happened already.
It was one movie. It was one movie, and then he got to be able to film with Sidney Sweeney.
Hey,
Yeah.
the Jets are about to go back up into the air, and Glenn Powell's going to be right there.
There's going to be another Top Gun movie?
It's done. They're doing it.
Oh, my God.
And there's a season 5 of The Bear.
I know. I saw that yesterday.
He's not in there, though.
No, I know.
And
I'm just saying
Days
that.
of
I'm
Thunder
saying
2 is going to happen.
Okay.
So we're into the world of sequels.
I saw Days of Thunder 2 last night. It was called F1.
Nice.
Did you guys go on a date?
No.
You both watched it yesterday.
I went to it. That's
when Matt texted Josh gibberish trying to ask him a question.
What do you mean?
Josh, read your text that you got from Matt yesterday.
I will read the text I received from Matt McMaster
What do you mean?
yesterday.
It was a very calm and
it was very calm.
Very
it just
calm.
lacked any
Here
sort
it
of
is.
functionality at all. Read this.
What's Bet's theater for go-to? Now, I was able to decipher this text into what's the best theater to go to.
What's Bet's theater to go to?
Yeah.
Now,
what
be fair,
in the hell?
I told him, because I saw it last week, I told him to go to an IMAX.
Yeah.
Because it's better there.
I get the question, but how do you not put together anywhere close to a sentence?
Can I be honest with you? I just looked down the phone. I go, I know Josh knows movie theaters, and so I just kind of put together words and knowing that he would guide me.
I got there.
But your natural inclination wasn't to make it a full sentence.
What do you think I was doing that made me
Driving?
Do you not voice to text?
No.
But still, what's Bet's theater for go
I was
to?
doing something that I shouldn't have been texting.
He was driving.
You could have just said theaters ? He would have got it.
I'm not
And
thinking.
that would've been way more of a
I'm not
sentence.
thinking. You think I'm thinking? I'm not thinking. Okay.
Now, I hear you might, because in Iowa you can't. You have to have hands-free cell, right?
Starting yesterday.
Yeah, so you might have been at the casino in Iowa yesterday, and so you can't have your hands on the phone.
I was parked at a light, and I go.
Oh, this makes it even worse.
And I was looking up at the light, and then I grabbed my phone.
What's Bet's theater for go to?
Look, it got the job done.
I
all right?
hope you responded in a similar way.
No.
I
He responded with Josh's response was Alamo is good, but has tapered off a little bit. ACX and Elkhorn is really good, but it's a long drive. I've been to the ACX and Elkhorn. I went this weekend actually over there.
So which theater did you
I
go
went
to?
the AMC in Council Bluffs.
For go to.
I went to.
That's a good one.
That is.
Did you go to Krispy Kreme?
No.
Did you go kart racing?
I went to.
Joe's karting.
Guys.
Only restriction is how good you
Oh,
are.
he went to Horseshoe. He went to Horseshoe.
I went to the Dolby Cinema. All right, that's where I went to, and then
Ameristar.
Then I went to Omaha Tap House.
Did you go to Quaker Steak and Lube?
Oh, that's a good one.
I went to the Tap House because I wanted to have a Miller Lite, and so I had a Miller
Did you get the
Lite.
Doug McDermott burger?
No, I did not. I got 6 wings with spicy garlic sauce that weren't that spicy.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling a burger.
Could have gone to Hooters.
I didn't have any
You
interest.
could have got some shots up at the Iowa Western Fieldhouse.
If I went to
Yeah.
Hooters, I would get mad.
Cabela's or Bass Pro, whichever
Yeah,
one that is.
both.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
I have to pick at this a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you went to Hooters, you'd get mad.
Yeah, because I would just be thinking of like what this place used to be. The Hooters have gone downhill. Right? They've detracted.
In
from
which way?
From the way that they meant to be. Okay.
Which
Used to
way?
be the way. This is the way.
No way.
The way. You know the way. I don't have to say the way. They detracted from the way.
Poll question.
Do you
I
know
think-
the way
Yeah.
know
that Hooters have gone downhill?
Yeah. You know exactly. I don't need to say anything more than that. Everybody knows who's been to a Hooters
So
10 years ago.
you don't have as
knows
much
what it was
sauce on
about.
the wings, is what you're trying to say?
No, there's
10
this-
years
there's
ago.
There's just not. Well, God,
Just
20
imagine when
years
it was
ago.
really rolling.
I know, 20 years ago.
30.
I would go to a Chicago Wolves game, and then the dads would take us to Hooters, and we were 9 years old running around Hooters.
That was probably the heyday. Hey,
And
look, StreamYard works.
that was the day.
People
You
still
go to
to
Hooters,
this day,
see John Gruden getting ready for Week 5.
people to this day say that the best Hooters, even better than the original in Clearwater, Florida, was the one on Center.
R.I.P.
Really?
Wait a minute. What? they compare the one in Clearwater, Florida to the one
Have you
on
not,
Center
like,
Street?
I've
Every
run into
radio
more people,
station was
No,
more
I do
people
remember
have
that,
raved about
yeah.
when the Hooters was there on
Oh, I
Center,
remember.
like 128th and Center.
Yeah, because my mom used to work in that plaza.
Oh.
Not at the Hooters. Dear God, calm down. But at the Westwood Plaza, there used to be a movie theater right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
it used to be the $2 movie
Yeah,
theater,
$1
and then
movie theater.
when because you'd go to that movie theater and your feet would stick to the floor
Yeah.
because of all the soda that was
But you
spilled.
were like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's $2.
It's a beautiful.
I
That was a
paid
beautiful time.
$16 for my movie ticket. Yes.
These were movies. Now, there was a time, children, gather around, before movies came out on video, they were second run movies at the $2 theater.
That's right.
Where they had they were not new movies. They were not yet on video.
But I have no problem with that.
yeah.
I have no
Yes.
problem with
If
that.
you're like, oh, I
And-
missed.
and the only
Everyone
way
told
to-
me to go see Terminator 2. I should
Yeah.
I should see what all the fuss
and
is
the only
about.
way to know is if you check the paper or if you drive by the marquee
Yes.
on,
Right.
off the Center Street, which is great. It's like, oh wow, they're showing Avatar.
Yes.
This is 2008.
I believe I
What's
saw
going on?
Dumb and Dumber there.
Of course, you
Cash
did.
only, by the way, I found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Never
Yeah.
adopted the card.
This is I'm
Uh,
learning so much.
Back to your point you made. If your mom had worked at Hooters back in
No.
the day, would you say that out loud? Why would you run away from that?
I mean, it's almost like
She's in the
having.
hospitality.
It's almost
Yeah.
like having a relative that does OnlyFans, right? I mean, it's kind of the same now. I mean,
I don't think that's right.
I don't think Hooters and OnlyFans are the same.
No.
I'm sorry, I remember Hooters way differently. That's my apologies.
Wow.
Yeah,
What-
yeah.
What Hooters
well,
were you
yeah.
What was
going
going
to?
on? over
Hooters
there?
in Chicago was lit.
The one right by the Rosemont Horizon, it was peak. It was great. It was great Hooters. God, the Chicago Wolves, who at the time were, with the Vancouver Canucks, they get a big win over the Hershey Bears, and then we'd all celebrate, go to the Hooters.
Nice.
Speaking of
The
this
Hooters,
discussion,
the Hooters in Vegas at the now defunct, now Oakland A's stadium.
Yes. Tropicana.
The Trop. Yeah, they had a whole like Hooters hotel over there.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they were
Hell yeah.
they were cooking
did.
for a minute. Yeah.
awesome.
So the ones
By the
went-
way,
I
Hooters,
went-
Hooters, good food, by the way.
now the ones in Florida,
The wings
ones
are
in Florida
great.
are a little bit
It's
different.
The wings are very good.
Yeah, people always say that just because
No,
it's a
no,
fun
like
joke
they
to
sit
say.
on sauce
It's not a
and-
joke.
yeah.
I like it saucy.
Do you like the
I
the full
saucy
wing?
wings. Yeah, I want a full wing. and
But
I-
what's the point though? Like,
what do you mean?
because they have that extra fling thing, whatever that part of the body of the chicken is.
Okay.
So you have the wing, and then
Yeah.
the full wing is
Yeah.
just the extra little wing.
Oh,
Yes.
the wing thing, the break off.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
those
yeah.
were popular.
You know
That's
what?
a
But
popular
why
Hooters
does it-
wing.
but why
Can I
does it
say that?
exist?
If you bite on it, the skin there is actually typically really crispy on that part of the wing, and so it actually there's some flavor in that if you can bite it off correctly.
Okay.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's stupid. I agree with you. Right? There's no point in having it,
Mm.
but it does get super crispy and has some good flavor. So I
Yeah,
like it.
Hooters doesn't give you the leg. They give you that thing.
I'm a fan of it. I like those. I'm a fan of the Hooters.
I'm paying
wings.
for my wings. I want big meat.
I like when I eat my wings, I like it like a little soupy. Like I like the sauce to be a little bit soupy. It's like very buffalo style. Like buffalo kind of does it like that. Like I like saucy nugs.
And just think,
That's chill.
Hooters got run out of Lincoln because it was too risque.
Is that why?
Yes. There were people that picketed.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a local establishment that's trying to serve good people.
Well,
good
that
food.
was back in the day when they
Hooters
were real
was
happy
in the
that-
way. They were.
Where was
loyal.
the Hooters in Lincoln?
So you know where Russ's is on O at like
Yes.
60th?
Yes.
Yeah, it was across.
Okay.
It became a Union Bank, or maybe it used to be a Union Bank. Now it's a Scooters and something else.
Okay.
But it's right behind where Shopco used
Oh
to be.
yeah.
They're on O Street.
Oh yeah. There.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, I know exactly.
went there
No,
and had
that's a
a-
really popular part of town.
I went there and had a birthday celebration. They put a bucket on your head,
yeah.
Ooh.
and they bang the bucket
Mhm.
while they dance around you, and then you drink a.
That is a great part of town.
drink a
Tequila.
no, a shot that has
Cognac.
oyster shot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Noted food connoisseur Michael Severe.
Michael.
It's called the tip of the wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I
The
didn't
tip.
know. I've never known what that is called. I've just always found it to be pointless.
I go to Hooters for the tips.
Nice. Good job.
But
Also
then if
good-
you buy wings and that's all you get, you're getting screwed.
I also got a text from.
you don't just get 20 tips. You get the full wing.
The Hooters likes the tips.
No, I mean, and they
They don't give you the leg.
But I get my meat. All right, I get my meat. I eat my meat.
Yeah, you can get that anywhere, by the way. Michael says that we did Monday shows at Hooters for a couple of years. The food was horrible, but the girls were friendly. That's nice.
Was the beer cold?
They always had the frosted mugs, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't Twin Peaks in Omaha coming back?
Well, I
Whoa.
don't think it ever left.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Really?
it did.
Remember when it
It's-
was-
Oh yeah, there was
Yeah.
a time. There was a bad time. Yeah, there was a bad
I
time.
think they are coming back to Omaha. Not in the because that location now is
It's a Tanner's now.
yeah, or,
Out there by Oscars.
Yeah.
yeah, or it's over easy or something.
Nope. Nobody knows what it is because you just go to Oscars because it's right there.
True.
Great
Can I
take.
go to Broncos? Can I?
You should.
Okay.
Yeah, get some burgers.
I'm feeling it.
Which location?
You get some chicken there too.
You tell me.
You go, probably closer for you to go to Leavenworth.
Okay.
Go to the that's the original.
I'm starting to mark off some more local territory in terms of things to eat. so I
Sindelar
can-
says it's an early bird. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. It's just oftentimes I found myself like in these conversations when you guys are talking about places and around town where I'm like I'm out of it and like now I need to
You'll get
eat
there.
more. I need to eat
Yeah.
more places to be into it, which is why I'm currently watching more movies. I'm on a 3-day streak of watching movies.
All right, what are they?
I watched Dune 1 on
Yep.
Sunday.
That's right.
I watched Dune 2 on Monday,
Mhm.
and I watched F1 yesterday.
I thought you said you were going to watch Speed or something.
I'm watching Con Air today.
Oh, you're
Wild.
watching Con Air.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Today is
Wow.
Con Air
What
Day.
a day.
You pushed Con Air 2 days.
Now it's 12 days until the events
no,
of Con.
Air.
Yeah.
I said
Yes.
I'm watching. I'm watching Dune
That's
2
true.
today. I'm watching Con Air tomorrow, and then I was like, oh, I should go to F1 today. So now Con Air is today.
Okay, it
But
better
I-
not get pushed one more day.
Well, Con Air is going to take 2 days to get done.
It
no,
should.
it's not.
Yes.
It
It's an
should.
hour and a
No.
half
You don't
movie.
know my schedule.
You can't-
I have to golf today. I'm golfing
You
today.
No,
can't
you're not.
turn
It's
off-
raining.
I'm getting
Once you start Con Air, you can't turn it off.
I'm getting my oil changed. Okay, I don't know how long that takes. I don't even know how much it costs. All right,
It's probably like less than 30 minutes.
I have no clue, man. I'm just going in blind. I'm going to the
First time you ever taken a vehicle to get an oil
yes,
change?
yes.
This is
Yes.
wild.
This is my first
This
time
is wild.
that I've ever because I take
All
it.
right, so here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you have any tips for me?
They're going to ask you if you want basically your entire car replaced.
Yeah.
You
So
don't.
there is.
They're gonna ask. You
Yeah.
don't have to
You're
You're
say
gonna
Yeah.
want
yes.
new air
I
filter.
do-
No, don't
I
get the
do-
air
I
filter.
You're gonna want your tires rotated.
Okay, so
you can
here's a
take
couple,
that out yourself.
Here's a couple of things. First off, when it comes to these people, these mechanics, all right, I Gator don't play no games. All right.
Oh, good. You just
Okay.
tell them no.
Oh no, I've been trained, and not just I haven't done it with mechanics before, but just people in general. The whole upsell thing. All right, I'm Gator, man. I don't play it. No, I don't want.
Okay.
I don't want this. I don't want that. I'm just telling you what I want. Now, I do have a pseudo engine problem right now.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
I have a cylinder misfire
Mm.
currently.
Okay.
Now I had a
Sounds serious.
cylinder misfire last year, and we went and we got all the new plugs and coils and did everything we need to do to fix it. Now it's back because I need to get my oil changed, right? Like that's kind of happening. There's like one and the same. I know that they're going to tell me, hey, we need to do something about the cylinder
Yeah,
misfire.
maybe you should actually do it then.
One, we've already done it, and I already know that I just need to get my oil changed, and it'll all it'll all be okay.
Mm.
Like I know that will because that's what's fixed it in the past.
Okay. Yeah,
I
you'll be
know.
fine.
I got brand new plugs and coils last year. It cost a lot of money.
You'll be fine.
I don't need it again.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm gonna tell them. I know. I'm gonna tell them like, no, I just want my oil, man. Just give me my oil.
They'll
Now, you
give
know
you that.
what? When they present you with what kind of oil, do you know what your answer is going to be?
I'm gonna be like, whatever one gets in this car regularly, and whatever one's not gonna run me $1,000.
It's never going to run you $1,000 to get an oil change.
I'm being hyperbolic.
Hyperbolic. Okay, so my guess is you have a very nice car.
You know I have a nice car.
I actually have never seen your car. I've just heard people talk about it.
It's the red one in the parking lot.
I've never seen it, but
It's not my car. It's
you're
not my car.
probably going to get full synthetic.
Oh yeah.
I don't. Guys,
Yeah, you gotta go full
I'm
synthetic.
gonna
Yeah.
get a headache here. What do you mean full
If you go
synthetic?
premium gas, you got to go full synthetic.
I do premium gas.
Yeah,
so I
you're
need-
gonna do
that,
the full
that
synthetic.
car is nice enough to where it's taking full synthetic.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 How often do you get an oil change?
Once every 8 months, 6 to 8 months is what I've been told. But I have a little.
It's more in mileage.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I have a sticker. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That on the top left of my car that tells me when I need to get service.
A date or a mileage?
It's both.
Good.
Okay.
So I'm over on both.
Okay.
My mileage, I did. So
How far over are you on mileage?
I'm 200 miles. Over.
Oh, that's
Oh,
not
you're
bad.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Now he's
No,
been
I'm
talking about this
Yeah.
since the College World Series.
So
this
that's
has been coming.
That's why I have like. Thank you, Josh, for listening. By the way,
Mhm, yeah.
I
the
didn't
reason
listen.
why I'm over on mileage is because I couldn't do it during the College World Series, and the date was June.
Oh, you don't. It's not like an exact. You don't have to get it. It's not
Oh,
like your
no.
car's gonna blow up.
See, I'm just treating it like that,
Yeah.
and so that way my car doesn't blow up.
That's great.
Yeah,
You could
I'm
probably
just-
push it like 1,000 over and be fine.
Okay,
Now,
Yeah.
great, because I lied because I'm at 400 miles.
Do you,
I'm not
do
at
you,
200.
do you
I'm at
trust the
400.
place you're going to? Because they may put something in upside
I
down.
Have no
And
idea.
then your car might blow up.
I have no clue. All right. All I know is this. I'm walking in there. I'm driving in there. They're going to change my oil. I know they're going to upsell me. I'm going to tell them I already got a guy back home. Don't need you. You see the Illinois plates. I
All
just
right.
need my oil.
I got a pull question
You
for
gonna
you.
get the
Okay.
wiper blades
I
changed?
do need.
Yeah, they're gonna hit
There's
you with
no
that.
blinker fluid. Don't
Yeah.
let them sell you on blinker
Yeah,
fluid.
don't pay for air in your
I
tires. either.
scheduled. Look, I hope that Firestone is just honest people because I scheduled an oil change. That's what I scheduled. I go. I just need an oil change.
Oil. All right. John emails into the show.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
He says Matt definitely needs his cabin air filter replaced, and I think I want to do a poll question and say, does Matt look like the kind of guy who needs his cabin air filter replaced? Because I think he kind of does. You feel like you
What
need
the
your
hell is
cabin
a
air filter.
cabin air filter.
Cabin air filter. Think about it. Air inside of the cabin. There's a filter that comes from outside your car to turn
My
your
air
air
conditioning works.
into
man.
good. It's not air conditioning.
Someone's
it's-
waving at us over.
Someone's pointing that they need you.
Who do you need?
Who is it?
It has to be done right now while we're on the
yeah,
air.
while
Who
the
is it?
light is on. No, we can do it later.
Who is it? Is it the
Is it-
person who won the prize? All right. Well, we can end this crossover anyway.
What do you mean? It was a good crossover.
It was a good crossover,
It
but now
was.
it's over.
Now
until
it's over.
We
until
talked
someone
about-
needed you.
We talked about boobs and oil changes.
We did not talk about booze.
We
talked about
did
Hooters
not talk about
Oh, we talked about it.
and the food, the tips.
Wingtips.
Yeah, just the tip.
Only the tips.
Just the tip. There you go. Pull question up at Happer Show. Does Matt look like the kind of guy who needs his cabin air filter replaced?
But this is like I don't even know what the
It
insult
feels like
is.
you may have not
What does
ever
it
have your
mean?
cabin air filter
I
replaced.
don't know
Yeah.
what that
Yeah.
is. Okay, my air conditioning works. It's cold. When
No.
it's a hot day, I get cold.
They're going to explain it to you, and then they're going to take your
Yeah.
cabin air
Do you
filter
know-
out,
do
and they're
you
going
know-
to show it to you, and they're going to
Yes.
say, "This is what you breathe," and you're going to say,
Oh my
"Gross!"
gosh!
And then you're going to buy it.
Okay.
And but it only costs like $20.
I'm not going to let them touch my car. I'm going to tell them put the oil
Part
in
of
the
the oil.
car.
It's
and then
too
let me
late.
drive.
They're already. It's
They
already,
don't have me. You think I'm weak. You look down on me.
No,
you don't think I'm
Matt, I'm
strong.
saying that you
I can
should
stand
get
up
the
to
cabin
people.
air
Maybe
filter.
you should hold out.
Get the cabin air filter.
Maybe you should hold out. You don't
No.
trust people that are going to change your. Why don't you do it yourself?
No, hell no. And
Go
by the
on
way, if I
YouTube.
held out, my dad would kill me with not getting my oil changed or anything like that.
You should get the cabin air filter.
Stop. Why are you being? I'm not getting the cabin air filter.
I'd,
Stop
get,
it.
new, I'd get new wiper blades too because it's going to rain.
And I'm fine. My wipers work. Okay.
There's
I got
a
new
guest
tires
who
a
wants
year
to
ago.
talk to Matt.
You
Okay.
guys-
All right. I guess we got to go. That's the
You can just
crossover.
walk in and interrupt the show.
Powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It is Wednesday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
Can't rule out a scattered shower or storm Wednesday, mainly before noon in the metro. Otherwise, expect partly sunny, hot conditions with highs in the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. And we got this show. I have an opinion day. And tomorrow has turned into, for whatever reason, just a gigantic party.
New tradition.
Topic alert. So get in your topics for topic alert. I've already bookmarked a couple. And I know we're asking a lot of you over the next 2 days. Topic alerts for tomorrow and opinions for today. For I have an opinion.
That's two things we're asking.
Yeah, we
on a holiday week.
That's all. We're asking a lot. I realize that, but get in whatever you can. Josh Peterson will be my co-host tomorrow, and I'm told that John Bishop or Josh Odson or the combination of something is bringing lunch
Oh yeah,
What
John did sort of float the idea of
yeah, he
bringing
was like,
Broncos.
what if I
burgers.
stopped off at noon and got a big pile of Bronco burgers?
Okay,
Now,
have to coordinate with
we'll
that.
get confirmation on that today.
A co-host, Connor.
Yeah,
What
it's
would
gonna
you
be
do?
it's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome. I love having conversations with people. That's why I love the crossovers so much. That's why they last several hours every day.
You just love talking with people.
I do. I like having productive or unproductive conversations.
And some people
with
are
people.
nice and go, well, Josh is there. He's like a co-host, but I'm not a co-host.
Josh is usually putting out several other fires that have started, whether it be around the building, on the computer, on the technology, wherever it might be. So Josh doesn't have time to listen to me all the time. And I understand that.
It'd be great if I could.
It would be awesome if he could, but he can't.
I can't. Couldn't possibly have multiple people doing multiple jobs.
So we're excited for that tomorrow on the show. Today, Robin Washut will join here in about 10 minutes. Robin went back and found a very important video in the history of really, I think, like Nebraska basketball, but specifically Red Panda. Did you see that video that Robin went and found last night?
Of you cheering Red Panda?
Correct.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That was from a basketball game in Nebraska in 2021. December 22nd, 2021. God only knows who Nebraska was playing. But everyone was wearing masks, or trying to anyway, putting on the appearance that they were wearing masks.
Yeah, I got it.
And reacting to what Red Panda was putting out there. And it was gold, apparently, because we were jacked.
You were into it.
Absolutely fired up. This, of course, comes off of tragic night last night.
One of the saddest nights in sports.
Yeah. So we'll talk with Robin about that coming up here in just a couple minutes. Mitch Sherman will join at 11:30. That's the lineup, powered by the Referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Also, coming up at noon, I have an opinion. Get in your opinions, whether it be on the text line or the YouTube comments, which we have ability to see, which is awesome.
That's right.
You can send me a DM, slide in the DMs like all the bots do these days.
Link in bio.
I get at least 15 messages a show in my DMs from crypto scammers.
Crypto scammers.
Yeah, they put like 50 people in a group, and they're like, "Welcome to the crypto group. Time to learn about crypto."
Wow.
And I immediately leave
they're providing you.
every single time. So you can join the club if you want to on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You could tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer, slide in the DMs at producer_Josh. Call or text 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flyer Casino Zone hotline, where once again this week we are giving away $100 to the Sky Bar and Grill.
We're doing that again?
We
did that last week.
From now until the rest of time. Well,
probably not.
Let's just say in perpetuity until it stops.
Okay.
How about that? Until further notice. Every single week, $100 to the Sky Bar and Grill. Go to 1620thezone.com to find that. Email ConnorJoshO at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say, yes, good morning to the YouTube streamers. Hello, everybody. I knew Theo would have a comment on Diddy immediately when we joined the show today. So thank you for coming through there, Theo. And thank you for jumping in the chat today.
And in that chat, who's our top fan today?
I don't know. I don't see it at the moment. I could go check.
Yeah.
Charles writes in.
Hi, Charles.
The crypto group buys stock in manufacturers. Good one. Also, J-Man throws some crabs in the chat.
Baymon's our top fan today.
Bayamon is our top fan. Cool. Once again, I don't know the math. I don't know the algo on this stuff, but it seems to be if you're in there a lot and if you comment a lot, you could be one of our top fans for the day. And I don't know if it changes. I just think they probably make their decision and that's it. By the way, I just saw another, speaking of Twitter, I just saw a picture tweeted out by Kirk Herbstreit. What do you think it's of?
His son posted a photo of their dog.
That's right. Our boy enjoying Lake Livin for the 4th, and it's a picture of his dog in water.
Wow.
Yesterday.
Nice of Kirk's child to post that.
Actually, 2 days ago, on June 30th, he tweeted out a like very professionally done picture of his new golden retriever, Peter. Remember, he replaces the one that died, and everyone was really sad about it.
Immediately.
Peter is
replaced.
having a great summer, but you could tell he's already ready for August 30th, which if I look at this picture of this dog, I'm thinking, oh boy, he's really ready for football to start. Great tweets, Kirk.
You ready to live on a private plane, dog?
Yeah,
And
you're
get me
coming
some
with
clicks?
me. And guess what? It ain't for you. It's for me. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Glad you're with us. Elsewhere today, yes, we will talk about Red Panda. Julio Rodriguez climbing a wall for no particular reason. We asked earlier in the week what the Denver Nuggets are up to. We have some clues. Maybe we'll get to that Caitlin Clark thing.
It's possible.
More commits. Is Arch Manning Tim Tebow? Gambling. Have you heard the latest in the Malik Beasley situation?
I read one tweet this morning that was fascinating.
Whoa. So we'll get to that. And of course, before we take a break here, we'd like to wish a very happy 92nd birthday to Steve Sipple of HuskerOnline.com. Sipple, you've aged fantastically.
Happy birthday, Dad.
We'll be back with Robin Washut from HuskerOnline.com next on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host point is good. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
You keep dust and allergens out of your home. What about radon? It could be there, and long-term exposure can lead to serious health risks, including lung cancer. If you're a 1620 The Zone listener, you can get your home tested by Radon Defense Midwest. Click radonradio.com.
Well, we'll see if we can get caught up with Robin Washut from HuskerOnline.com here momentarily to talk about just some Red Panda moments and
What's your favorite?
halftime acts. We can do this right now. Maybe Robin will call back during the segment, but we're close personal friends, Josh.
You and me?
No. Me and Red Panda.
Oh,
I mean, we
okay.
are too, but we're very close. So when I saw the video last night of her falling off of the unicycle, I was immediately skeptical. Like the
Whoa.
person. So Sean writes in on YouTube. He says, "I have an opinion. The Red Panda fall was staged. It was a ploy to draw more attention to the WNBA and the league since there's nothing going on right now. Look at the fall. It looked very staged." Okay, so I don't think it was a ploy to get everybody to pay attention to the WNBA. If it was, I don't think it worked. This happened in my mind, like separate. I know it was during a WNBA game, but it doesn't have anything to do with the WNBA. But I thought falling off of the unicycle, was she set up? Did someone purposefully or quote unquote accidentally spill something on the floor which caused Red Panda to fall off of her unicycle? I get it. People out there, by the way, the phone's ringing. I get it. She's lost a step. It's not the same as it used to be. If you are a fan of a local basketball team, you have likely seen her drop a bowl in recent years. It happens. I do think she's probably lost a step. She is certainly toward the end of her career. But falling off of the unicycle or falling, while the unicycle is in motion, that's a little weird to me. That's a little sketchy. I just hope, for my sake, and for hers, she does not seem like the kind of person who is going to walk away at the top of her game. Last year when I, according to her, successfully delivered her bowls at the Creighton UConn game, tossed her bowls, she was like, "You did great, nice job." But she was incredibly disappointed that she wasn't able to finish. She got up there 3 or 4 different times and she's like, "Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Let's do this again." Not thinking about how impressive it is to do 4 and not 5. And I think maybe she eventually got it done. I can't remember what. So I'm worried about her trying and trying and trying and failing and failing and failing. She takes it very hard. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Robin Washut from HuskerOnline.com. Hi, Robin.
It's a real sorrowful open with the Red Panda talk there, man. You're really bumming me out.
Well, I'm just worried about her, because she takes it really hard. She does so
yeah,
she takes it hard when she drops bowls. I can't imagine how hard she takes it falling off of the unicycle.
All great things eventually come to an end, and as much as I hate to see it, I think we're getting to that point because, I remember over the last year or so, just seeing clips of her, like you said, dropping bowls and stuff where there was a run when she was in her Jordan era, where
nobody had ever seen her drop a bowl.
Unthinkable that she was going to drop a single bowl. And so I don't know if I've ever seen her drop a bowl live, and I prefer to keep it that way. So I hope that what you're saying doesn't play out where she just keeps on going and then we have to kind of watch this unraveling before our eyes. That would be tragic.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I mean, certainly, by the way, great find on that video from 4 years ago. I forgot that happened. But man, do you want to talk about the pure, unbridled joy that a hot Red Panda run can give an audience? You saw it right there in that video. That was beautiful.
Yeah, think there was a comment. It was like, boy, you would have thought that was like the game-winning 3 and like Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the way that we reacted to her successfully flipping 6 bowls onto her head. But you know what? That's the power that Red Panda had, and she will be a legend for all time.
So I'm looking. I'm trying to find out. It appears. Well, let's see. I'm looking. I'm trying to see who that game was against, because that was in 2021. Is that December of December of 2021? So the 21-22 season. This is in the midst of Nebraska going 10-22 and 4-16 in the league. Nebraska was playing a home game against Kennesaw State, and Red Panda was there, and that's why we were pretty fired up, because it was it wasn't exactly pretty that night.
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of that season, was us celebrating Red Panda's successful stunt. Like, there's dark days there, but she was a light.
She was
for us all.
She was. Anyway, Fred Hoiberg talked a little bit last week. Anything on the basketball front? We haven't talked in a little while. I was gone last week. I was a little bit sick, but from the basketball perspective, as things kind of start to fire up a little bit, you're starting to see some organized practices and things like that. Is there any takeaways at the top of your mind from a basketball front?
Yeah, they just finished up the first session, if you want to call it that, of their summer workouts. It's mostly just small group stuff, not any full team practices or anything. Those won't start up until later, probably August, September, when fall practices start. But good news is that on the first day of summer workouts, they had their whole crew on campus. The interesting thing now is that Leo Curtis, the 7-foot freshman from Iceland, who was really impressed. Fred Hoiberg singled him out, saying maybe the most impressive big for the first month of summer workouts had been Leo Curtis, just because of how advanced his skill set was for being such a young player. And so that's the good news. Depending on how you look at it, the other side to that is that on last Friday, I believe, he left to go begin preparations with the Iceland national team to compete at the U20 European Championships. So he's going to be gone for pretty much the entire month. I think he's expected to get back by late July. So he might get in for like the last week or so of this kind of second session of summer workout, depending on how Iceland does. But I guess again, good news is that he's got off to a hot start. The somewhat unfortunate news is that he is going to have a pause, kind of his integration here. But Fred Hoiberg has been adamant for years now that when a guy has a chance to play internationally and represent his country, he's never going to say no. So it's another example of that. But beyond that, everybody's here. Everybody's working in. Rink Mast is probably ready to practice now. But Nebraska continues to be as cautious as possible with him coming off that really extensive recovery from his knee surgery. So he's like right on track. He's exactly where they want him to be. But they are taking absolutely zero chances with him suffering any setbacks. And so I would imagine that by the time they start doing full team activities, they're going to kind of take the training wheels off of him and let him go full speed. But for now, they're really focusing on just getting him back into basketball shape. Like, there's no issues with the knee. In fact, I think his leg strength is probably better. His explosiveness is probably better than it was before the surgery. So that is all good. Now he just needs to get back into basketball shape, because it's been a long time since he played full 5-on-5 high-level basketball. And so just that part of it is kind of the next step in this process. But again, he's right on track. This plan has been very thorough and meticulous every step of the way. And once they start practicing for real, I would imagine Rink will be full go. Beyond that, it's just kind of your normal off season, where you got a bunch of new guys that are trying to get to know each other on and off the court. They're doing a lot of team activities, some community service stuff. And again, Fred likes the group. It's kind of a continuation of what they've built over the last 3 years, with not just players that they believe are, high-level talent, but high-level character guys that or kind of embody what they wanted this program to become. Really going back to the 22 class. So not a lot to report, but things are progressing exactly as you would hope, and I think that they've got some quiet optimism to them going into the summer.
Hey, anything to read into, or was it more just kind of, I guess, the nature of how Bryce Williams approaches his business, in that he had to kind of wait a little while until we found out what his destination was going to be as an undrafted guy, ends up with the Pistons for Bryce. Anything to read into that, or the early portion now of his professional career?
I'm not sure, because like this whole time, like pre-draft process, the kind of wide assumption was that he was going to be, if not a draft pick, then he was a surefire, like priority two-way guy. And so, like, for those that understand, like undrafted free agent contracts, the two-way contract is the preferred route, where you are basically a priority free agent that will start in the G League with the opportunity to swing up and play X amount of games with the NBA squad if it all works out. Well, from what I've heard, and I still haven't seen anything official on this, but from what I've heard is that Bryce signed an Exhibit 10 deal, which is kind of the next level of undrafted deals, to where, like, basically they sign you to have a chance at making the G League team.
Right.
So, like, he's got a couple steps to complete here before, he's really solidified a spot in the NBA, whether it's G League or anything else. So the Summer League is going to be really important for him. That starts up later this month. And if he plays well, he'll have every opportunity to play his way into a two-way deal, which would give him, more money and more kind of security with the Pistons. Juwan Gary is kind of the same way. He signed a kind of just a summer league deal, so he doesn't even have an Exhibit 10. He's just getting the opportunity to join the
Clippers.
I'm blanking on the team. Clippers, thank you. The Clippers summer league roster. So he too will have a chance to kind of earn a spot at whatever level over the next few weeks. But the Bryce thing was surprising, just because, like, I guess a lot of people, myself included, assume that he would probably be a little bit more higher on the pecking order when it comes to those potential prospects. But all you can ask for is an opportunity.
Yep.
Both those guys are going to get one. We'll see what they can do with it.
All right, Robin, appreciate it. We'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tell Sipple happy birthday personally from me.
I will. I'm actually pulling up to the office right now. We're going to do our show, and so a birthday special for the one and only.
Tell him that his son Connor wishes him a happy birthday.
Yeah, his young, impressionable son Connor.
That's right.
Wishes him the happiest birthday.
See you, Robin. Thanks.
See you, bye.
Robin Washut from HuskerOnline.com. You got to find a way to get a message to Sipple. That's what I'm talking about. And not in a conventional way. You could send him a tweet. You could send him a text. I'm sure he's getting inundated with the texts and the tweets today.
You want to surprise him.
But yeah, you want to find a way. I got ways to get to you. Mm-hmm. The Bryce Williams thing, we never really talked about it. Took a while, right? After I kind of assumed he was going to go undrafted. And I think most did.
Careful.
What? What? What?
The Nebraska ball stands were adamant that he would get drafted.
Were they really?
Maybe even ahead of Kalkbrenner.
Okay, that was never going to happen. He was never going to be a first-round pick. Right?
Neither was Kalkbrenner.
Kalkbrenner had a chance, and he was drafted in like the third pick of the second round. So he actually did have a chance to do that. I know. This sounds like honking at the moment. Josh, give me some sound here so I can hit the
honk.
I understand. So, but let's talk about the Bryce Williams thing for a second before we take a break.
Okay.
So it takes a minute after he goes undrafted, and you're like, what is he gonna be? Because there was a lot of guys got picked up quick. Top premium undrafted guys. Like we learned, but it turned out we ended up learning about all of these other local players who we were keeping an eye on before Bryce Williams. And some of that maybe, like I said, some of that maybe is just Bryce is a quiet guy, and it's not like he's talking to everybody about what his next deal is. Or maybe maybe he was a little bit further down the list. than people thought. I was a little, maybe that's something to read into. Maybe it's not. But he doesn't get the top tier, two-way deal. He gets the Exhibit 10 deal and has to really, really earn his spot. I've always thought that Bryce, a really, really good college basketball player, was going to have a difficulty trying to stand out in the NBA because of exactly what I just said. He just doesn't stand out. I'm sorry, like he doesn't like his efficiency stands out, his numbers stand out. Like I said, he was a really good player. But once again, there's a lot of guys who do that at the NBA level. So what you're going to have to do when you get to the league as a really good college player is either continue to be what you were as a college player and be better than those NBA guys who do it, or as good as the NBA guys who do it, which I think is a tough proposition for Bryce. Or you have to be, and this is mostly how it works for young guys, you are going to have to do one thing in particular really, really well and find your niche. One characteristic about you that you could do at an NBA level right now. That's how you make a roster. That's how you get involved with teams. And I don't know if Bryce has that. Really efficient player, good scorer, can find his way to the bucket, pretty decent finisher, has a lot of good stuff in his bag, but it's difficult to see where he stands out among the rest. So I imagine that he'll give it a run in Summer League. Maybe he hangs out in the G League. But I think he could be a really successful player overseas. And there's nothing wrong.
But
there's a lot of good players who have done that.
Now, just real quickly, maybe just hear me out. Maybe a guard position opens up on the Pistons somehow, some way, because I don't know, maybe somebody gets banned for life from the league and a spot opens up. Maybe it's the best thing to ever happen to Bryce Williams.
Maybe he's next up if Malik Beasley gets canceled forever. Maybe.
Maybe.
I tend to think he's a little bit further down the list than that. Travis writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Travis.
You're telling me the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic MVP, Bryce Williams, doesn't stand out? Preposterous.
Not a lot of those walking around, Connor.
No, there's not. And we will always have that picture of him holding the oar, having that weird face. Love that picture of Bryce Williams.
Yeah.
He's a
good photo taker.
Yeah, he's a really good player. But it's you have to really, really stand out at one thing. What can you bring that is valuable to us right now if you want to make an NBA team? That's why not a lot of college guys make NBA rosters in their first year. It's a very, very small club. All right, quick timeout. We'll be back. Don't forget, Mitch Sherman will join us at the bottom of the hour. Plenty to come right here on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, congratulations to listener James, the winner of 1620 The Zone Road Trip. 1620 The Road Trip. 1620 The Zone Road Trip. James came in this morning right during the crossover, and he picked up his tickets to a Royals game, Adventureland, and a year's worth of ice cream from Ted Wally's, and a Hy-Vee gas card. And, of course, you got a picture with Gary and Matt, who did the Matt Rule finger point as well.
And many would say that's the biggest prize of all.
And then young Matt went off to get his first Bronco burger, which the reports are coming out good from this.
He says, I'm sorry I waited so long.
But congratulations to James going home with some stuff from us at 1620 The Zone. It pays to stop by the Omaha Baseball Village. Maybe you'll find Josh and Matt rubbing themselves down with some KRT athletic muscle cream.
They were doing that.
And you could win the prize next year. And then, of course, we'll have plenty of prizes throughout football season.
Yeah, we'll be sending you places.
Are you ready to start up 4-quarter pick'em again? I mean,
no,
it'll be a while.
I'd like to wait.
I'm ready to start making picks. I'll tell you that. I haven't made a pick on a thing in a really long time. I got the pick itch.
You have the pick itch.
Do you have the pick itch? I do. I haven't made a pick on something. When's the last time you made a pick on something?
Probably the College World Series.
Did we pick that? Did we pick who was going to win?
Yeah, we said LSU would meet Arkansas in the finals.
No, we didn't say that. One person said that,
well,
and
the
was wrong.
baseball guy of 1620 The Zone said that.
Yes, he was dramatically incorrect, though. I guess not that dramatically incorrect.
I mean, it was the finals. Let's be honest.
It did kind of feel like it. It did kind of feel like it. But dude, don't you remember that game where Kevin Stahl got tossed because of Angel Campos?
I do.
People forget about that. All right. Congrats to James.
Yeah, that was probably the last pick I made.
Let's go to baseball. There's a large slate of baseball today.
18 games.
18 games. Can you believe it? But Connor, there's only 30 teams. That's right. We get 2 doubleheaders coming up today. The Royals don't get in on the day action. They're going to play at 9 basically tonight, and they'll be going for a series win. The Royals are 1-0 in July.
Hello.
That's the only record that matters. But I'd like to bring to you a play from last night's Seattle-Kansas City game up at T-Mobile Park. Here is Salvador Perez hitting a deep fly ball to right center field.
And that's hit well, right center field. Rodriguez goes to the track at the wall, and it's a 3-run home run. Or did it stay in play? It did. Royals already have their hands in the air to want to take another look at it, and Vinny Pasquantino, who had to hesitate, as the Royals' first reaction was that ball was gone.
What is happening?
And the runners held, or they didn't hold, they started jogging, and the Royals will not challenge.
Ooh, the captain, man, that ball, it looked like it had helium and it just kept going higher and higher. I thought for sure it'd be in the first 3 or 4 rows because it looked like it had enough. But let's watch it. Rodriguez, wow, totally misjudged it.
That's Rodriguez' reaction is what threw everybody off.
There you go. We finally figured it out. It wasn't until 45 seconds after the initial play happened that anybody had any idea what was going on. If you're just listening with us on the radio, Julio Rodriguez, star center fielder, although not hasn't had a great year this year, star center fielder for the Seattle Mariners, jumped up, scaled the wall in center field like he was going to take a home run back from the second row. And it turned out the ball landed not only not over his head, but short of him and about 7 to 10 feet to his right and off the wall, at which point Vinny Pasquantino scored and Salvador Perez lumbered into second base. One of the weirdest plays that I've seen in a while. It was odd and nobody could figure out what was going on. And by the way, I apologize if you're watching along with us on YouTube for that video not being formatted, because the Royals like to tweet out all their videos in
TikTok
form or
Yeah.
in Instagram form.
Just tweet the
stupid clip.
Yeah.
And then the one clip that I did see going around on Twitter it didn't include the part that I wanted to have. So there you go. That's what we got from last night. How about Julio Rodriguez? Just completely whiffing.
I mean, he had that nice pink glove, and he's got those beautiful chestnut eyes.
He does. Also, Mariners. Okay, so they have Randy Rosarina.
They do.
Randy Rosarina hit a home run last night.
He did.
And
he's still pimping things?
Yes. Like absurdly.
Okay.
He hits a home run. He trots very slowly around the bases, whatever. He takes his time. He gets to third base. I know he does this on every time, but he gets to third base. He stops 2 feet shy of third base, does a step back basketball shot over to the third base coach, continues to run around.
Ronald Acuna does something similar.
Finally gets to home plate after several minutes of what it feels like, gets to the dugout. They give him a big pitchfork. He high-fives everyone. He gets to the end of the dugout. Everybody's been high-fived. He goes and finds the dugout cop, starts dapping him up, handshakes with him. Like, bro, you just hit a home run in July to make your team down 3-0 to down 3-1. Let's chill a little bit. I know I sound a little bit like an old man. A
little bit.
And I know, I get it. And I'm all for celebrating, but come on. Give me a break. That's all.
That was his 11th home run of the year.
His 11th home run of the year. It's the most, it's the least consequential home run that you could possibly imagine.
What are you talking about? They put him in a 4-way tie for second place on the team.
4-way tie for second place on the team. Once again, it made it a 3-1 game in, I believe, the 4th inning in July.
Hell yeah.
He's like, give me my pitchfork. I want to dap everybody up that I could ever find ever. And, do my arms crossed and stuff like that. Just like, geez. Okay.
Randy found a trident.
Yeah. Where'd Randy get a trident?
That escalated quickly.
Randy killed a guy. So anyway, that's what was going on in baseball last night. Also, the Royals were really busy having their innings take less than 5 seconds. Seriously, I turned it off right before the Julio play happened because I couldn't stand it anymore. It was 3 consecutive innings where they had lasted like 6 pitches in 2 minutes. I would look up from my computer and it'd be like, oh, they're done. They're done batting now. So I don't know. Maybe it's time to fire some people in Kansas City or something like that. I'm not a huge fire coaches guy, but I don't know. Maybe it's time.
May I just quickly complain out loud about my baseball team?
Absolutely. This is baseball complaint segment.
Okay. Well, 8th inning yesterday, Braves Angels, no score. It just as a team who Braves can't hit the ball either. I'm sure you can relate.
Handshake meme.
Braves give up a 2-run double in the 8th inning, and I just turned the game off because I know Braves aren't scoring tonight.
It is completely demoralizing.
It is.
The other team scores. I was receiving a text from dear friend Damon Benning over the weekend. He went to Kansas City to watch his beloved Dodgers.
Everybody went to Kansas City this weekend to watch the Dodgers.
And I said, Damon, it was Sunday. I said, Damon, your team has 2 runs already. You can leave. You can come home now. You could drive back up I-29. The game is over. And I was right. Connor was right. And he's like, no, this pitcher, he's up in the zone right now. He's running out of gas. It's like, don't worry. The Royals will not cash in on this. They will swing wildly, not get runners on base, and not score. It is completely demoralizing.
6 innings, 10 strikeouts from the Braves starting pitcher, just wasted. And that's happened multiple times over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Completely wasted.
Just wasted.
Elsewhere, Mitch Sherman is going to join us in a couple minutes, and don't forget to get your opinions in for I Have an Opinion coming up in about 40 minutes, top of the noon hour. So yesterday, we were wondering about what the Denver Nuggets are doing. Was this yesterday or Monday? Remember, because they cut Trey Alexander, and then they made a bunch of trades, and nobody's sure whether they like this new front office or not. They have been very active, the Denver Nuggets have, over the last couple of days here. Have you ever heard of a Twitter account called the Zodiac GM.
Whoa. No, I didn't know Ted Cruz was doing basketball tweets.
The Zodiac GM literally evaluates trades or roster moves and evaluates them based on if they're signs, if they're what is that? What do they call those? The
astrological
signs. If they're astrological,
horoscope.
yeah. If their horoscopes match up, if they're like good moves, this is why Nick Grimm would love the NBA. I keep telling him this, but he doesn't listen. He's like, I don't think I would. No, he would love something like this. So the Zodiac GM evaluated some trades.
A weekly half-hour podcast called Hoopstrology.
Yeah.
Put that one in the queue, Josh Peterson.
The Zodiac GM, so they did the Michael Porter for Cam Johnson. Michael Porter was a B+ fit with the Nuggets from an astrological sign standpoint. But Cam Johnson is an A+ fit. Cam Johnson would instantly connect well with Nikola Jokic, who's a Pisces. Cam Johnson is a Pisces. Jamal Murray is a Pisces. And Aaron Gordon is a Virgo. And apparently those signs match up well together. So they took a good match and went to a great match from an astrological standpoint. The Nuggets signed Tim Hardaway Jr., who is a Pisces. He connects well with Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon. The Nuggets signed yesterday and made a trade for Jonas Valanciunas, who is a Taurus. The synergy grade is A+.
Whoa.
The Nuggets have made another great acquisition with Valanciunas. He seamlessly complements their already strong core. Interestingly, in terms of synergy, Dario Saric, who they traded in this trade, did not align well with the Nuggets core. Valanciunas, on the other hand, is an exceptional fit. A+. Valanciunas has strong connections from an astrological standpoint with David Adelman, the coach, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, and Aaron Gordon. Do you believe this?
So
this is what they're doing. They are trying to moneyball their way into a good team from an astrological sign standpoint. And I can't tell you that we've ever seen this before.
So this is one of those things where I'm really ticked because we could have done this in this building with someone who is always saying, guys,
yeah, she would have been fired up about it.
If you need a sports take, I got you.
Yeah.
And we're always like, yeah, you're welcome whenever, but we just never know how to use her.
This could be
this would have been it.
Yeah, this could be a great, project. It's really the impetus of a great project, I think, for Alyssa, who, she could really evaluate all of these different sports teams and see how well they connect together. Everybody is trying to find an edge, right? Everybody's trying to find an edge. You either spend the most money or maybe you just have one or two really, really talented guys. But if you are trying to get the most out of your money and the most on your investment, it has to work from a synergy standpoint. The chemistry has to be good. And usually what you say about championship teams at the end of it is that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, even if the sum of the parts are strong, right? So this is this team's probably going to have great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
They think alike. They work well with each other. And so maybe this is the new thing in sports. You hire astrological sign evaluators, and that is the new edge.
If you're wondering how deep this account runs, they have an update on Dame Lillard, who was reportedly very pleased by the Bucks' decision to waive him, making him essentially a free agent when he returns from the torn Achilles.
Did not make Giannis very happy.
Probably want to keep that guy happy, but I'm not in the building. Dame Lillard, a Cancer with an Aries moon, finds himself in a favorable situation. This is beneficial for him as Cancer energy emphasizes strong family connections. When Dame is happy, it can make a significant difference.
This is awesome. I got to follow this account, and we got to follow this for the rest of the season. And I want somebody to do it from a college level, too. Somebody do it with Nebraska football.
We
Or is it?
We could literally do that with Nebraska football.
Or is there too many people? But I don't know what signs match up with what signs and what signs are about what.
We don't have to know that.
I guess you're right. It's
Alyssa
not for
does.
us. Yeah, it's for our.
Here's all the birthdays and the names of the players. Tell us what you tell us.
Go for it.
Yep.
What's your evaluation here?
What do you find? Yes, there are a lot of them.
Yep. She knows more about me than I know about myself because she knows my birth date and what time of the day that I was born. So yeah, maybe this stuff is real. Maybe it's not. Maybe the Nuggets are trying something, or maybe it's just a giant coincidence. But it feels like it might not be at this point. Mitch Sherman is going to join us. We have some Husker topics to talk about with him from a recruiting standpoint and various other things. When should I hold on and take this call? Okay, all right, we won't do that. Mitch Sherman is coming up next here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy. Oh.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic, on The Connor Happer Show, on 1620 The Zone.
He can play.
All right, we're joined on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Hello, Mitch. What's going on over there?
Oh, nothing. Just got ice all over the floor, and I'm trying to back out of my garage to go meet some family for lunch. But it's all good.
So you're good. Everything's fine.
I'm good. Yeah, my son decided to dump a large amount of ice all over the kitchen floor. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do, but that's just another day.
Okay. And you have all your possessions, and you're ready to go.
I'm trying to. Yes, I do. I do have all my possessions. You might hear my car going in reverse, but power on through.
Okay. Good. I'm glad that everything is working out okay. Right. And you are very nimble. Like you adjust with what you're given, and this sounds like another situation where that's happening.
Yeah, you got to roll with the punches. So that's where we're at, especially in the summer. Very unpredictable time.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
You clicked off real quick. All right, just wanted to make sure you didn't go over to
Might
the
have
Bluetooth.
been a little Bluetooth issue there, but we're all good.
All right, excellent. Recruiting. Someone commented in before. How about this Cruton class? All of a sudden, things are starting to take off a little bit for Nebraska in the recruiting realm. They needed this. They needed this last month, where they've gotten 9 commitments out of their 12 in the class over the last 31 days or so here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what position does this put them in? And we talked about it a little bit this morning regarding sort of the big picture with the roster and all that stuff. Yeah. I guess, how do you sort of square all that up as we head into July?
Well, that's a big piece of it. And I don't think that a lot of people who are casually observing the off season necessarily put all the pieces together and recognize that up until the settlement term, sometimes when we say house settlement, like people get the glazed over look in their eyes, and they just kind of go on tune out mode.
Yep.
And I understand with a lot of that, like they just want to see football. They just want to see sports. Well, if they care about recruiting and they want to hear about those conversations, then it matters, because Matt Rule and his coaching staff, until June 6th, when the settlement was approved, truly did not know what the size of the roster would be that they were allowed to carry this year in 2025. And they got final word, and it was back and forth, if you remember, during the spring and early summer. They got final word on June 6th that they could go over the 105, really by as many as they wanted, as long as they designated those players within 30 days, which gets us to July 6th, this Sunday. And that impacted the recruiting class, because if they would have said it's got to be a hard 105, you would have been very hamstrung if you're Nebraska in terms of the number of players that you could bring in this year. There are 57 freshmen and true freshmen and redshirt freshmen on the roster. But you would have been looking at cutting players potentially that had been in the program for a year or two, that hadn't had their time to develop, unless you greatly minimized the number of recruits who were signed in this 2026 class. So they got some room. They got some wiggle room with the June 6th ruling, and that allowed Nebraska to then go to work and put this class together. Previous to that, Rule was recruiting with one hand tied behind his back, is I think a great way to describe it, because he didn't know how many players he could sign. And he was concerned that it might be a very small number if they wanted to stay in compliance and not have to cut young players in the program. So now they've been able to operate in a more normal mode over the past month, and it's felt more normal. It's felt more like a normal off season, a normal summer. And summer has become the time for Nebraska and most programs, at least in the Power for when they collect the majority of their commitments. So here we sit at 12 going into the holiday weekend, and that's about where I think you ideally wanted to be with where this class is going to end up and the fact that you hope to gain some players by having a good season in the fall.
Mitch, how do you think they go about the process of tagging which players they want to grandfather? They want to be the players that they could hold over onto this roster and go above the 105 with. Like, how do they go about the process of identifying those players, and what does it mean for them if they do get tagged?
I think they'll be genuine about it. I think they'll be honest about it. That's the best way for your players, because you don't want to put that tag on somebody who wasn't going to be cut. Basically what the judge said is, and what the ruling said, I guess it was language drawn up by the, by the NCAA and the power conferences in this case, is that if you would have been cut under a 105, under a hard 105, then you're eligible to receive this designation. So in theory, and I don't know if there has to be some kind of justification, like this player ran a 4.740 at,
Is there a
195
clearinghouse?
pounds.
Is there a clearinghouse for the tags like there will be
That
for
would
the
get
NIL?
very murky. That would get very hairy. It would require a lot of football knowledge that nobody on the outside is going to be able to have about what's happening within a program to say, no, you would not have cut this player, so he can't be labeled the 105. I think they're just going to leave it up to the schools to say this player would have been cut. But so Nebraska's left with a choice. It could just slap that label on all 21 of the incoming freshmen and thus maximize the amount of time that it had to get down to 105. But that's not the message that you want to give those players. Like, hey, we were going to cut you if obviously that's not the case. They were not going to be cutting Christian Jones here in August,
right?
If the 105 was intact. I think it'll be players who were traditional walk-ons, players for the most part who had not been receiving NIL payments, players who had been told back in December, and even as the conversations continued through the spring, that they didn't have a spot on the 105, and it would be in their best interest to look around and figure out what they were going to do with the rest of their football lives. Well, they've been given a reprieve. They've been given relief by the ruling, by the House settlement. And I think those are the players. I wrote about Connor Keneally in the spring, player who suffered a knee injury that's going to cost him the 2025 season, suffered it in bowl practices, but it's the second time he's been through it, so there's a longer recovery. He was not somebody who was projected to be on the 105. He is the type of player, and there are 20 or so of them in the program who are the right fits for this designated list. And I think that's who it'll be. The risk that you run if you put somebody on the list who isn't really in that area is that they then are kind of even more free agents than players are in today's world in general.
Yep.
Because if you decide to transfer and you've got that designated tag, then you don't count against the 105 at any program. You could go to a rival school and be of more value to them because they wouldn't have to count you on their 105.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mitch Sherman from The Athletic is with us. Mitch, this week, or really for the last several weeks, what the future of the playoff is going to look like is come into focus a little bit more, or at least there have been people who have been talking about it. Tony Petitti talked about it a little bit, finally, on the Joel Klatt, on the Big Noon Conversations with Joel Klatt the other day. You got a chance to watch that, right? Or listen to it?
No, I've just read about it.
Yeah. Anyway, the same question still stands. What is your vibe on, like, it's just a general question. What kind of vibe do you get from Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, and what he wants the college football playoff to look like going forward, and maybe even more broadly, like what he wants for the league?
Well, I've taken him at his word on the interview this week when he said, "Well, okay, he's promoting the system that he believes and that Big Ten leaders believe will work out best for the Big Ten.
Right.
And that is to go into every season with a guaranteed minimum 4 in the college football playoff. The SEC is kind of banking that it can get more than 4 if they just go with conference champs plus 11 at larges. And the Big Ten is on the other side of that saying, nah, we're good with a guaranteed 4. And then if there's 3 at larges at the end, after all of the automatic qualifiers are determined, hopefully we can get another one in there, but at least we know we're going to get 4 every year. So he's acting in what he believes is the best interest of the Big Ten. And that's, I think that's the role of the Big Ten commissioner. Whether he truly believes that it suits all of college football the best, that's immaterial. Like, he comes from this world, this background in professional sports where, you look out for you.
Yep.
And if you're the league, then you look out for the league. If you're an organization within that league and you're an executive for that organization, then you're looking out for the executive. And it's no different than the world of politics or business or whatever. You're looking out for yourself. And that's what Tony Petitti's doing. And he's good at that. Like, he's good at creating a narrative, creating a case that makes it work for the Big Ten. And in this instance, he's saying they want to take the decisions as much as they can away from the committee, take power away from the committee. If the committee's got to decide 11 at-large spots after the 5 automatics, then that's a powerful committee. But if it's only 3 spots at the back end, then you're not relying so much, and then the automatic berths are going to take care of most of the work. It's ironic, I suppose, that Troy Dannon's on the committee, and the Big Ten Commission is saying, we don't want him to decide anything.
Right, yeah.
The less he can decide, the better.
There's plenty of Big Ten representation on the committee, yeah. All right, it's something to watch, certainly, going forward, and we'll see how this gets sorted out over the next weeks and months. That's for the playoff for 2026 and beyond. All right, Mitch, we'll let you go. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thanks a lot. Take care.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. You could check out recent story. I think he had a story up today, I want to say, about Nebraska's recruiting exploits, what they have done there recently, and plenty more updates on Nebraska football. Let's take a break. Josh will have the odd news. Don't forget to get your opinions in for I Have an Opinion. And did I mention that we have gift cards to Site One Brewing?
Pot sweetener.
Yeah, I apologize. I forgot to mention that.
Whoa.
So send in an opinion or two.
This is huge.
Or a topic for Topic Alert tomorrow. And we have some flexibility here. We could start tossing out some Site One $50 gift certificates, like they're candy. But send in some opinions. Josh will be the ultimate evaluator of all that stuff. Get those in for about 15 minutes from now. But first, the odd news coming up on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
on 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for the 8-time league champion Omaha Storm Chasers, a proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals since 1969. Tune in for every pitch of the 2025 Storm Chasers season at
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, Josh, it is indeed time for the odd news. Can't wait. Get your opinions in, by the way, for I have an opinion.
Yeah, Connor hasn't participated in this bit in a long time.
Several weeks. By the way, we were going back yesterday during a break. So next week, theoretically, in theory,
anything can happen.
Next week will be the first time I do regular Monday through Friday shows since at least, we haven't tracked it back exactly, at least the middle of May.
It's a long time ago.
At least the middle of May. May 12th through the 16th, I believe, is the week that we identified. That was the week after Mother's Day. Father's Day is come and gone. And here we are. Get in your opinions, for I have an opinion coming up in just a couple minutes. Josh, what do we have?
We go to China.
Oh,
where
interesting.
The first Robo League robot soccer tournament took place in China, pitting AI-powered teams of robots against each other in a 3-on-3 match.
Are these the things that are inviting me to the crypto groups on Twitter?
Maybe. The tournament held Saturday in Beijing drew a crowd of thousands of curious spectators to watch the robots attempt to score goals using strategies determined by AI. This is the first fully autonomous AI robot football match in China.
Wow.
Said the executive director of the tournament. Yeah. It represents a combination of technological innovation and industrial application, as well as an important window for bringing robots into public life.
Oh, really? This is something that we need to do?
Needed this? I don't know about
robot
that.
inclusion? Yeah, man. I don't know. Like if they did a robot sporting event here, would you be interested? You are smashing that
I
water.
know, I am thirsty.
Would you if they did a robot, they promoted a robot sporting event. This is what? Basketball?
This was soccer.
Soccer? They had robot soccer at like Baxter Arena. Would you go?
No.
Robot soccer at like Liberty First Credit Union Arena?
It doesn't matter where
okay.
it's at.
All right. Just want to make sure you weren't like, I mean, I know you're anti-arena in general.
We have a lot of them.
What about the
Could pare it down.
What about the CHI? We got one of those?
Great arena.
You
Can't
won't
wait
see
for the new. If that was the first time you could see the new boards.
What
maybe.
if they played Power at the robot soccer game? Would you go?
Power, new boards, robot soccer. I might go.
Okay.
The tournament ended with the THU robotics team defeating the Mountain Sea team 5-3.
Congratulations.
This was a lead up to the 2025 World Humanoid Robot Sports Games, which will be held in Beijing this August. I don't love that part.
No, they don't need a whole games.
Yeah, they don't need their own games. Yeah. Story number 2. We go to Ohio. The newest ride at Cedar Point Amusement Park, quote unquote, experienced a delay on the first day it opened to the public, left riders stranded in a vertical position for at least 10 minutes. Tony Clark, spokesman for the Sandusky, Ohio amusement park.
Nice. Tommy boy.
Yeah. One thing that Zelensky fella hasn't shut down, told the Akron Beacon Journal that the Siren's Curse experienced a delay when riders reached the tilt coasters area of track where the passenger car is topped to turn at a 45-degree angle.
Okay, so they were going up.
Yes.
That's not, I mean, would you rather be stuck going up or stuck going down?
Up, 100%.
Yeah, definitely, right?
The coaster safety system performed as designed. The ride was restarted. Guests continue their ride. Siren's Curse reopened shortly after, and all guests exited the ride safely.
I'll tell you what freaks me out. You look at those roller coasters, and let's say, everybody, you've driven by the Mamba at World of Fun in Kansas City, right? So, have you been on the Mamba? You are really
Many
smoking
times.
that water.
Guys, I'm really thirsty.
Why are you so thirsty
I don't
today?
know.
I've been on the Mamba
Something's
as
wrong with me.
well. I was afraid, but I could be peer pressured into just about anything, as I've mentioned before. So, dear God, Josh, how many jugs do you have to do of that water?
Until my thirst is quenched.
That is nuts. That's so much water. You're going to have to.
Well, don't worry. I'm out.
All right. Okay. So you'll have to get some more, which we have a lot of water. But you go up the roller coaster and you ride the roller coaster and whatever happens. But the real scary part for me is looking at it and imagining what would happen if the roller coaster cart stopped on its way up and the people had to walk that side rail to get up and like either retrieve the passengers out of the carts or like fix the thing while it's up there.
Yeah.
That's scary to think about for me. I don't like that.
That
I don't like that
side,
exists. I know it's there for safety, but it scares me that it's there.
That side path or whatever it is.
Yes. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Good take. Good take by you.
Thank you.
Get us your takes for I Have an Opinion in the next segment.
By the way, Ohio, Sandusky, Ohio.
That's right.
Same state as the Big East baseball tournament held at Prasco Park.
That's right.
People forget. Would you go to Robots at Prasco Park?
If it was free and I got Chick-fil-A, yeah.
You would.
Okay.
You would. Only on Chick-fil-A.
Would they play an instrumental version of Power?
If you turn Power into a gospel song.
Okay.
They would play the real version of the Kanye God Praise the Lord song.
That's right.
They would play the whole thing.
We end the odd news today in Philly. I'm going to skip that part. June 26th.
Okay.
A Philly resident was at the airport, attempted to enter the facility through an exit lane in Terminal C, i.e. the wrong way. You don't
enter through an exit.
That's right.
Got it.
When a security guard confronted him, the man claimed that he had left his phone in the airport and was simply trying to retrieve it. The guard contacted police to see if the cops could look for the phone for him. And when the dispatcher told security that he would not be able to help, the man decided to barrel his way into the terminal. The security guard told him to stop. And that's when the man offered a $50 bill to the security guard asking, hey, will this get me through? The female security guard followed the man, argued with him, trying to get him to turn around, but he persisted. So she contacted police to inform them of the situation. Eventually, the man got away from her and disappeared into the terminal. Cops and security guards looked for the man, but he was nowhere to be found. Security officials at the airport checked the airport surveillance camera and realized he boarded an American Airlines flight. It turns out he was a ticketed passenger on that flight.
Oh.
When police arrived at
What
the
a
gate,
twist.
They realized that the doors were closed and the flight was preparing for departure. Officials informed the captain of the plane there's a passenger on board that didn't go through the proper security. Prosecutors charged the man with evading airport security. They took him off the plane. They're like, hey, man,
So this was never about the cell phone.
You got to go. No, it wasn't.
This was never about the cell phone.
You got to go with us. Like, hey, sorry, you didn't go in the right way.
Yeah.
The man breaks free from security. Like, he's cuffed, though, so he kind of shoulders his way into a different gate or whatever. And he falls onto the tarmac because there was no stairs. Fell off the jetway again.
Just like Dumb and Dumber. Jim Carrey ends up on a tarmac in Liar Liar too.
He does. It was a good bit.
He's on the plane. He has to take the stair car, and he's on the wing of the plane as it's going to take off. And then as they stop the plane, very realistically, he flies off into a giant pile of bags. At none of these points, he was arrested and taken to jail.
Nah, he was doing it for family.
He was doing it for family.
That's right.
Wow.
Family.
What a story. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me. I know there was a lot of twists and turns there just to get to a Dumb and Dumber reference, but
yeah, we got there. Yeah. We got there. All right, we're back with I Have an Opinion. Still time for you to get in your opinions. And once again, the pot sweetener, $50 in gift vouchers to Site One Brewing. You have a chance to win one. Might give away one, might give away two. Who knows? Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
This is the I Have an Opinion song. You haven't done an intro yet. Need to get on that.
Yeah. I have an opinion. Josh drinks more water than a buffalo.
It'd be close. Give that buffalo a run for its money.
You were absolutely crushing water on several occasions.
I just love water, famously.
During that segment. And then you went out during the break, the short break.
It was short.
To get more water.
I'm good.
To just slam during this. Look at that 1620 The Zone cup.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
What? That guy who did your guys' hats.
Oh.
He's like, I did 3 hats and a cup. And
You got the cup.
I was gone that day,
You're
so
like,
I got the cup.
Well, the hats are really good, but the cup is good too.
Yeah. No losers.
Not at all. Send in your opinions wherever you'd like to get in touch with the show, whether it be the text line at 951-1620, 402-951-1620, or on YouTube in the comments section, or on Twitter at Connor Happer, at Happer Show, at producer_Josh, or on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox, Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com. Josh, do we have any place we want to start today?
Oh, I'm going to start on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
Okay, let's go right there.
Mark hits us up there.
What's up, Mark?
I have an opinion. Fanny packs are for meatheads and potheads exclusively.
Whoa.
If you're not storing your weed or your steroids in these babies, you need to get a backpack or find some other means to carry your stuff. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Whoa. Mark is saying that people are carrying steroids in their fanny packs?
That's right.
People, do you have to carry your steroids around to be a steroid guy?
Well, you
can't I do steroids secretly? Like, what?
Why don't want to leave those lying around?
Why do the
somewhere?
steroids have to come with me?
You don't want to leave them in a locker.
No, at my house.
Someone might break into your house and steal.
When is the most optimal time to do the steroids for them to have an effect? Like after a workout, before a workout, while you're in your downtime, like before dinner, after dinner? I don't know the answer to these questions. But I figure they're just like, I just got to take them once a day or, syringe myself once, whatever it might be. Why do you have to bring them with you? What are they doing in the fanny pack? I just leave them in a secret drawer at my house.
No, I Googled best time to take steroids.
Yeah, what's the best time to take steroids?
Well, it said the best time to take oral steroids, like no, not medicine.
Not oral steroids.
I mean drugs.
Yeah, we're talking about yes. Like if you were in the MLB and you did this, you would be kicked out. Or at least suspended for an entire season once and then maybe a second season.
And then forgotten.
And then completely banned after that.
There is no best time to illegally take steroids in Major League Baseball.
No, because it's illegal. Thank you, Google AI, you idiot.
I Googled.
God.
MLB best time to take steroids.
Alex and Lincoln says it doesn't matter as long as the syringe hits the cheeks. That's good. That's good. So why do the meatheads need to bring them along with them in their fanny packs? They can't be carrying steroids in there. I don't think that's right.
You don't?
I don't think that that's right. I don't use a fanny pack. I don't have to. I don't feel the need to defend them. But it can't just be a bunch of people with steroids. They're fanny packs. I can't imagine there's a world where that exists.
Now I've noticed you've really hit the steroids hard.
The weed fanny pack is possible. The weed fanny pack is possible.
Okay.
You put the gummies in there. Call up Fat Rob. Yep. Get the gummies. All right, what else?
I gotta go get gummies today.
Like gummy bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haribo. Mark hits us up with a second opinion. That's allowed.
Okay.
I have an opinion. If there are as many fish to catch as there are fishing commercials, there would be no world hunger.
Excellent point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we like to let people know
we're a sports station that is an outdoor sport.
Yeah, people like to hunt and fish. And so we want Greg Wagner to tell them how to do it right. And some things to do some things to know before you go. Or some boat notes.
Oh.
Things like that. We're going to put Greg Wagner on even more.
Probably going to hear Greg Wagner a lot on Friday. Just a hunch.
On Friday?
Yeah.
When we're not here?
That's right.
Okay. By the way, what are we running on Friday when we're not here? What do we got?
TBD.
TBD? It's Wednesday.
It is.
All right. Less water and more figuring out what we're going to put on the air on Friday,
Josh. I don't have
Josh.
time to figure it out. I'm drinking so much water.
All right, here we go. Let's go to the text line, Josh.
All right.
Here is Pedro. Pedro's
Hi,
got
Pedro.
a couple for us right off the bat. Hi, guys. I have an opinion. You could tell if your doctor or surgeon was a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout by the size of your scar. Or if you have an innie or an outie belly button, the innie people had an Eagle Scout for sure. Happy face emoji.
All right.
I have an innie.
I as well have an innie.
That's a lot of Eagle Scouts.
Well, they like the regimen. They like the order to
So,
everything.
so you're saying that the innie people have a belly button done right?
I think that's what he's getting at. Yeah.
Okay.
The cut. It was a good cut.
Good cut. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder because I was involved in the cutting of the cord.
That's right.
Of a person.
So
now,
was I.
About 11 months. Oh, just a little more than 11 months ago.
Wow.
Do I have an effect? Does the father have an effect on what the belly button ends up looking like?
Isn't ours more of a like, hey, just cut it somewhere.
Oh,
and we'll trim it.
Oh, you think it's just like symbolic?
Kind of.
Go ahead. Let's make the dad feel like he's important here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. With that being said, I was still nervous. I was like, we got scissors near my daughter who's 1 second old.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do this.
This child does not know to stay still.
Why don't you guys just take care of it? Okay. No, I did it though. I was a big man. I was an adult. All right.
Connor cut the cord with his child. Unsurprising, says Cat.
What? I cut the cord as a father would do. very present.
You seem to have cut the cord with your daughter. Yes.
I cut the cord. I did that.
Mhm.
From the 402.
Hi, 402.
I have an opinion. You should have a contest where listeners give titles to the generic bumper music that plays on the way back from break. One of them sounds like there is a bee loose in the studio. I know exactly which one you're talking about. I have long said that I hate the generic bumper music.
He does.
And we should definitely get rid of it. But it still exists, probably because Josh is drinking all that water.
I'm drinking water. I don't have time to find songs and not feed them to the YouTube.
I have songs. I made songs. They're there. They're actually in Next Gen.
Oh yeah, no, I can pull them up right now. Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah. Yep. That's
That's
all.
in there.
I got some little Uzi Vert going right now.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna have to hear this for let's see, where's my mouse here? Yeah, one of those. Yep, you're gonna have to hear that forever and ever and ever. I agree. People start to text in the names of what you think those songs should be called.
I can feed that song to the YouTube stream because I care about the YouTube audience. The other shows, they don't. You just welcome back.
So,
whoa, God, we're coming back.
So we are talking about the ability or inability to press a button for once a second. Like this is what's standing in between this at this moment. Because I've always done the bump music for my shows because I like music. I'm really
it's better, right?
I'm really particular about the songs that bring us back because I want them to be good songs. So I've just had this is just something that I've turned my head away from for a long time.
It's more a matter of while I'm putting out 11 fires during the commercial break, am I going to remember, hey, don't feed that song to the YouTube audience?
Yeah.
That's really all it is. I don't think I'll remember. And I don't want to make mistakes. So I'd rather just be bad.
See, that's a losing
Damn it, he's not buying it.
No, not at all. It's a losing proposition, I guess. But yet I see the other shows do it masterfully, Josh. And you are the GOAT.
The other shows are so good.
You are the best at this.
I am.
You are the best at producing.
Look.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Have you ever been so much better than everybody at something that you just had to give them a win?
No.
Okay.
No, I have not. I have no idea what that's like, but I imagine you do. Stop drinking water. He keeps drinking water. What is going on? What is wrong with your blood sugar?
It's a lot.
All right, for the 402.
Hi, 402.
I have an opinion. If the Topic Alert show tomorrow isn't perfect for that Caitlin Clark thing, then you should just drop the bit.
You'd have 8 hours to get to the Caitlin Clark thing.
Yeah, but I thought the bit was not talking about the Caitlin Clark thing.
Yeah.
Then if we talk about it, then the bit ends either. So you want the bit to end tomorrow? Is that what this person is saying?
Saying it might be a good day.
I don't think tomorrow's a great day for a bit funeral.
No. It's just her second season in the league.
From the 402.
Hi, 402.
Oh, this is from, here we go. This is from the 220 boys. I have an opinion. Connor is the #1 radio host, #1 Jay's Live boy, a good daddy, and brings much joy to my life. Site One Brewing, ? Exclamation point, winky face, RDJ boys. Ooh, and Josh and Connor are the sexiest duo with the 402.
Whoa.
Smiley face.
Now
What do you
we're
think?
talking.
Does that person win?
There wasn't a lot for me until the end there, but that sounds good.
Good. You are ultimately the judge. Let's see. Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
I have an opinion. Putting your hazards on when it's raining heavily is stupid and worthless. Just turn your lights on like you do at night.
Great take.
Yeah. Also, stopping under bridges. This doesn't help anyone.
I might hydroplane if I go
Go
too
slow.
fast.
Go slow.
I'll go 11 miles an hour because it's raining. I don't want to hydroplane.
We have people stopping in the middle of the road to get bridge cover during rain. It's rain. Cars are built for this.
Not a storm. Not a storm.
It's just rain.
Just rain. It was just raining today.
It might be heavy rain, but really, it's going to be okay. Your car is going to make it. It doesn't mean you have to drive into giant puddles. It doesn't mean you have to have a little bit more awareness. You should have a little bit more awareness when it's raining and pay more attention than you normally do. Sure. But we don't need to be stopping under bridges. Please don't stop under the bridges. It just makes everything worse for everybody.
Charles on YouTube, I have an opinion. Safety is not important to the Connor Happer Show.
That's not true. That's a bad opinion. We love safety. In fact, I would argue that stopping under bridges makes everyone's driving experience a lot less safe.
Yeah.
A lot less safe.
I have to, in some capacity, don't I have to know what you're going to do? You're the car in front of me.
Yeah.
I have to be able to predict what you're going to do to some extent.
And every other car always continues to go straight.
Moving.
Yes. But not in this case. Sometimes you just stop in the middle of the road.
Mike on our YouTube stream. I have an opinion. Josh's nerd voice is God tier.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Some other people speculating on what may or may not be happening to me with my
are you
amount
okay?
of water intake.
Can we get some doctors up in this thing?
I have an opinion. Josh might have a medication or supplement imbalance.
Why is he drinking so much water?
Mike was in here earlier. God, where did it go?
Do you actually have an answer to this? Why do you think you're so thirsty?
I'm assuming it's diabetic related.
You're diabetic?
We're right there. Yeah. We're right on the line.
Can't be undiagnosed. You have to go get that checked out.
Well,
doc, do you think I'm diabetic?
There's a reason men don't go to the doctor.
Because they tell them everything's wrong.
They tell us things.
Yeah.
Things we don't want to hear. Things I don't have time to
Josh,
hear.
I did it a couple weeks ago. Time to go. They were like, your liver's
when did you have time to go to the doctor?
I don't know. They were like, this is at the beginning of May, maybe something like that. They were like, your liver. We're going to have to check that out. And then they did. And they were like, actually, you're good.
You know what? You should
And
watch
that was great to hear.
that Liver King guy.
Oh, I'm sure he knows about liver health. That guy is going to die.
Yes. I don't mean to laugh at that. but
That guy is not in good shape. He looks like he's in good shape, but he is in bad shape. Here we go. Cody.
Hi, Cody.
I have another opinion. The Topic Alert show should allow a live in-studio audience. We would if there was any room.
Whoa.
There's no place to stand.
That's a great idea.
We could do a show like on a stage from somewhere, though, like Bill Simmons does for his podcast.
A live radio show?
Yeah, why don't we rent out like a theater or something like we have theaters, many theaters across town.
Some would say too many.
Some would say too many. We rent out one of those theaters. We go sit up on the stage. We grab a microphone. We do a live show. That's the story. That's an idea, Josh.
Probably nothing going on at the Benson Theater between 10 and 2 on a weekday.
What do you think's going on at the Admiral these days?
Couldn't possibly be anything.
Okay.
It's not ballet anymore. That's for damn sure.
Go check it out. Check it out. I was at the Admiral a couple months ago.
You were at the Admiral?
Yeah. I was doing an award show.
Whoa.
The Billies.
Oh, the Billies were at the Admiral.
We're at
Really?
the Admiral, yeah.
Interesting.
It was great. It was great. John says, don't forget the email options. Don't worry, we won't. I'm making my way through the text.
Oh,
here.
yeah, I got some emails.
Chris writes in,
Chris.
oh, this is poll question. Oh, no, he sent a couple texts. All right, so the first one is, I have an opinion. Tuna salad is the superior mayonnaise-based salad. Egg salad is the worst. Oh, what about chicken salad?
What about a turd sandwich?
What about-
which is all three of those options?
What about pasta salad? Like not egg salad. What's the thing that I'm looking for? What's the word that I'm looking for here? You know, the yellow stuff from the
potato salad?
Yeah, potato salad. Yeah. That's mayonnaise based. That's the best one. So wrong, Chris. Tuna salad? Ooh, that sounds questionable to me.
These are all disgusting food products.
Yeah.
that you're listing.
Josh gets weirded out by when stuff is good, apparently.
No.
All right, Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
I have another opinion. Hi, guys. Josh would have different grunts depending on the power equipment he is using. Chainsaw, power washer, and a blender.
A blender? Am I trying to grunt the appliances?
Grunt
Is that
the
what we're doing?
appliance. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. It was chainsaw, blender, and what else? What was the middle one?
Let's see. Power washer.
Okay. Chainsaw. Power washer. Blender.
I hate blenders. I appreciate what blenders do, but they're way too loud to be that. It could be the smallest, loudest thing on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Is there anything smaller that is louder?
A lot of parts,
except
to
for like a
clean.
child.
A child, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of parts to clean. Anything smaller that's loud.
Yeah, a blender might be the worst actual thing. I hate blenders.
No, that's a great take.
I'm out on blenders.
But again, I love what they do.
Jed.
Hi, Jed.
I have an opinion. Men's shorts are too short now.
Good take.
I don't need and one mixtape, but there has to be somewhere in the middle. Yes, it's called the knees.
The knees. That's what the knees are for.
Yes, that's where it is traditionally ended up. And many people have stayed right there, right at the knees this entire time, no matter if it was the time in which shorts were really baggy or shorts were really short. There's a lot of people who stayed at the knees the entire time, and those people should be applauded and commended for the job that they've done. Not following along with the trends just because they're cool.
Not showing brain to the entire coffee shop or the entire Omaha Baseball Village.
A lot could go wrong when you're, making sure you're eating your knees during a radio show, which sometimes happens. Sometimes happens to some people. Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
I have an opinion. If I had to do my dating life again, I would have took my brother's. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
If I had to do my dating life again, I would have took my brother's kids, especially when they were dating, to the zoo and out to eat and all that more often. As a new dad, the amount of times girls approached me as a very much married dad is higher than a very much single early in life. Interesting. The opinion is babies are very disarming and their natural conversation starters. Alas, I am older and not in the mood to have random conversations as a dad. So I have an opinion. Use children as mechanisms to start conversations with.
The word is bait.
Yes. Yep. Mechanisms to start conversations with whatever. What do you think about that opinion?
Oh boy. I mean, so here's the it's gonna work, but it's probably a little immoral.
Does it really make it better for does it really make it better for women if you're sitting there with like your little, if you're sitting there with like your little brother or something like that? It's like, oh, that's cute. Yeah, like, why couldn't you have just started a conversation like normal? If you were really like that made you start a conversation, that kid's cute.
Yeah,
I'm a little confused by this.
I don't know how much this is actually happening.
Well, it's happening there.
Like it happens on sitcoms a lot, right? Like, oh, hey, will you watch my dog? And you take the dog to the dog park, and this beautiful woman falls in love with the guy, and he's like, oh my gosh, what a great way to get chicks. But I don't know how much that's happening in real life.
Oh, Aaron says it's happening. It's happening all the time. There might be something to it. I don't know. I don't know the answer to it. Let's go to the Equitable Bank inbox. Here's Bad Takes Doug.
Bad Takes Doug. Hello.
I have an opinion. Spending money on personal fireworks is stupid. Please give me half and put the other half in a trash can and burn it. Disagree. Buy fireworks. Especially from Cracklin' Kirks.
Yeah, buy them from Cracklin' Kirks. But,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of you are rubes. Just, ooh, I can drink beer outside and light stuff on fire. Okay.
Wow. All right. Yeah. And you're out on that?
I'm going to scare all the dogs and people in town.
Listen.
With illegal fireworks.
I'm not going out there buying $500 worth of fireworks, but I understand people want to do it. And that's cool. It's not what I necessarily want to spend my money on.
Mm-hmm.
But on the 4th of July, if somebody wants to go out there and spend $500 and have a nice local neighborhood fireworks show, great. That's good for them. I won't do it. I will go. I will watch the fireworks and I will enjoy them. I love the 4th of July.
3rd of July, 4th of July, 5th of July. These are great days to light off fireworks.
Not the 30th of June.
Yeah.
Not the 22nd of June.
Mm-hmm.
Not January 1st. Not when the Huskers score a touchdown.
Not when the Cubs win a baseball game.
No, it's when the 4th of July happens.
I'll give you 72 hours to get your rubeness out there. Do whatever the hell you want to do.
Josh loves calling people rubes.
Lose a finger. See if I care. I don't. It's the American way, right?
Here's Chris.
Hi, Chris.
From the Equitable Bank inbox. Toys from the 90s were far more creative and fun than anything the toy companies are putting out there today.
Ooh.
Sure, some of the toys weren't very safe, like moon shoes and sock'em boppers, for example. But as a new father, it was eye-opening to see everything so basic and branded in the toy aisle. That is a good point that I haven't really noticed yet. But yeah, we did have some wild toys.
Yeah.
Back in the day that have been proven to be either unsafe or unhealthy for children to use. And safety is good. We're a pro-safety show, Josh. I'm trying to dispel the rumor that we're not. Pro-safety show.
If we were anti-safety, wouldn't we say, yeah, everyone should light off fireworks? Fireworks are great.
There is no cool, but Chris is saying that there's no cool toys anymore because they're too safe.
Boy,
what do you think?
I mean, there's certainly less toys. Like, you just like it's all IP. I get like it's all name brand stuff. Like, there's nobody just like, hey, I made a toy.
It is. That's unfortunate.
It is.
We got a couple more from the inbox here. Here's Bayamon.
Hi, Bayamon.
Drivers who cannot figure out how to get up to speed when merging on a ramp should be forced to fight it out in the Thunderdome against drivers who always drive 10 miles per hour under the speed limit. 2 dummies enter, 1 dummy leaves.
Ooh.
That is a great take. You should be going the appropriate speed on the interstate as you are entering the interstate.
Yes.
You do not go up to the dotted line and then say, "Can I get in, please?" and then slow everyone down behind you. No. You should be up to speed by the time you merge onto the interstate. It will also make it easier to merge onto the interstate.
Interesting.
So, very good opinion by Bayamon. Here is John.
Hi, John.
I have an opinion. This is related to something we were just talking about. The people that think they need to start lighting fireworks for the 4th of July on June 25th are horrible people that cannot possibly bring anything of value to society. I will say that if people have kids, like you go a week early and you buy the fireworks and the kids are like, "Hey, can we rip some of these off?"
Yes, they will do that.
And they'll say, they'll say yes.
My realtor dropped off some fireworks yesterday and my child is like, "Can we do these? Can we do these?"
And what'd you say?
Well, they were sparklers and smoke bombs. So I'm like,
okay, those are cool.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
What about black cats?
No, no black cats in the package. I'll have to tell Lacey, "Hey, where's the black cats?"
Why did your realtor drop off fireworks?
For holidays, she drops off things to thank us for buying a house from her. She's very good.
Wow.
Like we'll get a
that is big time.
Pumpkin pie from her every Thanksgiving.
Pumpkin pie haircut freak. Sorry.
Yeah, she'll always drop off things for the holidays just as
cool.
as a thank you.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
We got to check out your realtor.
Lacey's the best. She should advertise on this radio station.
We got a good one. Let's see. Chris writes in, poll question: are children a good way to meet women? That was something that was brought up before.
I don't love that.
No, we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Don't
love the optics of it.
Alex Lincoln has another date in which you shouldn't shoot off fireworks. January 6th. That is right. Any date that's not July 4th, generally. No fireworks should be allowed on those days. And frankly, no fireworks are allowed on those days if you live inside the Omaha city limits.
Super wide fireworks range.
I'd never know what the laws are because nobody even cares about them.
That's part of it. By the time you could call a police officer and get the police officer to the place, they're done lighting the fireworks.
Aaron follows up on his opinion about using children as bait. He says, think my opinion came off a bit off, not using as bait. That's why women, that's why women talk. When women talk, it shows a sense of responsibility. And I think, man, we got to get it straight here. Also, the internet means conversations are just not as often anymore. That's been proven in studies. That's true. People don't like talking to people anymore.
Absolutely.
You want to see somebody who likes to talk to somebody? Go find Gary Sharp at the Omaha Baseball Village.
He will talk to you.
Yes, he has many, many questions.
I might not have anything to say to Gary. It doesn't matter. He will talk to you.
He will get something out of you. We'll get something out of you. Alex and Lincoln, hot take. Nobody cares about the laws. And Pedro, hi guys, whatever happened to the cool nicknames of the people who lost a limb during a fireworks show, like One Hand Willie? That's a great question. Maybe we don't want to, maybe we don't want to showcase that stuff anymore. Here's another email from Bad Takes Doug.
My bad takes, Doug.
College baseball. Are you aware, i.e., do you keep a list of college players in the vicinity of Omaha playing summer ball in respective summer leagues that are legit future prospects? I don't keep a list, that's for sure, but the lists are out there from the various college teams. You can find out where they're playing. We have many college leagues around here. But I was thinking the other day, one of the things I actually, this recent, I don't know if it's a bucket list thing because that feels like a little bit too strong, but I do want to go to a Cape Cod League baseball game.
Show on the road?
No, I don't want to work.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't. I want to go on vacation to the Cape, and then I want to go check out a Cape Cod League baseball game for me one night, and then really aggressively quote Summer Catch, like the entire time I'm there. Just rip off Freddie Prinze Jr. lines.
What if now you've heard the talk radio ads where it's like, join me as we take a trip to the Blue Danube and we'll...
I have heard things like that.
We'll go to the Parthenon and we'll see the Colosseum.
I've heard things like that.
What if it was, join me, Connor Happer, as we go to Dundee Theater for a screening of Summer Catch and then fly out to the Cape and catch a couple baseball games.
So we're going to go to the movie and then we're going to go to the actual Cape?
You want everybody in this travel group to have recently seen Summer Catch,
No,
yes?
I don't know. I don't know how this came off, Josh. I don't want it to be work related at all.
I'm just saying that's how you get it paid for.
I would pay for it.
Okay.
I would take vacation to the Cape, go to a summer league baseball game, and then think about it and talk about it to myself and on my own time, not with anybody, maybe my wife and my child. And
you
that's
would
all.
take your child.
Nobody else is involved in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not listeners who win the opportunity to do so. Like if I was involved in one of those summer, like get away with me, we'll go to wherever, I would do that, but I wouldn't make my vacation that. I would want to come back and then do another vacation for myself.
I would definitely tell the bosses, no, that was not
that
vacation.
was not my vacation.
That
was work.
I had to mingle with the audience the entire time.
Exactly. I'm not using my vacation on that. Mm-hmm. That's not vacation. Yes. That's the main point here. All right. By the way, Texter writes in from the 402, motor coach to the Cape. Let's do it. It's a long bus trip.
50 yards.
All right. Those are the opinions. Josh, you're going to have to pick some winners out of there. Well, good luck.
Tough pickings.
Good luck. Yeah. What are you saying? They were all bad?
No, I'm saying they're all great. I don't know what to pick.
Okay.
I'll think it over.
All right. We are back after this on 1620 The Zone. Nebraska football has announced that they have sold out another game.
Wow. Hang the banner.
They sold out the Michigan game for this year.
Can you
Congratulations to them.
Was that, were we worried it wouldn't?
No.
Okay.
We were not worried that that game wasn't going to sell out, but are we worried about some other games that might not sell out? So the Michigan game would be sellout number 406 in a row. Remember, 400 in a row last year was the Friday night Illinois game, of which people have many opinions of. There are 2 scheduled home games before the Michigan game this year. They are against Akron and Houston Christian. Those would be sellouts 404 and 405. So, depending on how you view it, is 406, are we already locked in for 406, or will it be number 1 or 2 in the new sellout streak? That's up for your interpretation. No, I think they'll probably be fine. But we missed this from a couple of days ago because Nebraska sold out their. Look at what Josh is doing right now. This is
Just keep talking.
he got so. I finally triggered him into this, where he's putting in the instrumentals and he's going to play them at some point. This is going to be awesome. He's going to remember to not put them on the stream. Right. They don't have lyrics, by the way. They don't have lyrics, so that's good. So Nebraska sold out the Michigan game, and they also announced some other things that are happening this year. This kind of went under the radar, and I'm sure we'll be learning more about it in the coming days, months, and weeks. During that Michigan game, Nebraska will be bringing back the 1995 national championship team for a reunion. That's pretty exciting. It'll be, 30 years at that point? I guess that's the math on that. A 30-year reunion for the 1995 national championship team. Was the last reunion they did for 25 years since the 90, I guess it was 20 years since the 97 national championship in 2017? Or have they done one? Maybe they've done one since. Maybe they did one for 94 last year. That's the other thing about winning national championships in such close proximity to each other. The Royals had the same deal like this year and last year. So they were honoring their 2014 AL championship team like a lot last year, and now they're honoring their World Series team this year. Many of the people are the exact same on each of those two teams. So 1995 national championship reunion coming up against Michigan. Here's some other things that you could expect in terms of themes at Memorial Stadium this year. The Akron game will be you'll get a drone show, Josh.
Ooh.
Oh, man. What's his name? Just ran into that wall again.
Denzel?
Yeah.
Clark?
Yeah, he did not catch it, and it went over the fence for
That's
a home
the
run.
second time he's not caught the ball,
but he
ran into the
he
fence.
rammed into that thing, and he was not close to catching it. He was like Julio Rodriguez from last night. But anyway, the drone show for the Akron game. You got to bring out the big guns for the Akron game. Houston Christian game will be Ag Day.
Ag Day.
Many tractors and things of that nature.
Case IH Red Zone will be popping.
That's right. It'll be literally red in the red zone. Nebraska football. That is the day that they will honor folks going into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame against Houston Christian. Mentioned the Michigan game is the 95 national championship reunion. The Michigan State game is homecoming. The Northwestern game is military appreciation. The USC game is the Nebraska Athletics Hall of Fame induction weekend. And then the Iowa game is senior day / heroes game. I'm excited for the drone show, personally. I'm fired up for it.
What are you excited about?
Well, I love the drone show.
Okay.
I love when they did remember they did the drone show at the light show last year?
They can do some pretty cool things with those now.
Absolutely. Those are fantastic. Hopefully it's not too windy or something like that when they start blowing away. Yeah, they did. They were fantastic. A couple comments. Happer's Meme Guy writes in.
Hi, Happer's Meme Guy.
Is the drone show for the Akron game dedicated to Scott Frost?
Yes.
It should be. Remember when Scott Frost has never played a normal first game in his career?
Got to watch that coming up here.
Yep. Watch out for the Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
And also another question from Happer's Meme Guy, will they bring back the cow for photo ops on Ag Day? Did you see the AI?
Matt Rule Facebook post?
No. Like, so they
Yeah.
they took the cow pictures and then they like made it move, and it was like Rule like staring into the eyes of the cow.
What?
Yeah, it was odd. It was not real.
Hey.
This is bad. The
Guys.
AI thing has gone way too far.
Look, Kyle, get the TikTok cam ready. Go touch grass, kids.
Yeah.
Get outside.
Yeah.
Do something.
Please.
You don't need to be doing this.
But it's AI. It doesn't.
Talk
They don't
to
have
women.
to. They don't have to do anything.
Breed.
All they say is, "Hey, make this move," and then AI does it for
Do
them.
charity work.
Jed writes in.
Hi, Jed.
Good question. What do you mean? There's no Harry Potter Day this year.
Imagine that.
That
No
would
Harry
be
Potter Day.
awesome. North Stadium, Gryffindor. West Stadium, Slytherin. East Stadium, Hufflepuff. South Stadium, Ravenclaw. And then they say, the Ravenclaw people yell all the way across the field. They say, Gryffindor sucks. It's like left field sucks, right field sucks in the College World Series. Check out my scarf. It's a lot better than yours.
And then Hufflepuff is like, let's play Magic.
Yeah. Let's play Quidditch.
Quidditch, yeah.
Let's play Quidditch. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Nothing bad ever happens when we do a reunion. That's true. Last time they did a reunion, definitely nothing bad happened. I don't know when they did that. I don't know when they did the last reunion, but I do remember the reunion they did for 97 and 2017. And Nebraska actually kind of played semi-well for 2017 standards in that game.
Okay.
They had the game tied in the about midway through the third quarter. And then
what more can you ask for?
And then Jonathan Taylor just soul crusher drive all the way home. And Nebraska, the people from the 97 team had to watch as their souls left their body.
Losing the exact way they would have never lost a game.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Travis writes in.
Hi, Travis.
That's a big assumption that the Akron game doesn't get canceled due to lightning. Wouldn't that be funny if it did again?
Just what are the odds?
They have. I mean, the odds that a single college football game gets canceled are pretty astronomical.
Yeah.
The fact that it would happen twice in the span of 6, 7 years, 8 years
against the
same
opponent,
team,
a non-conference opponent,
even more hard to believe. All right, quick break. We'll run out the hour. Coming back, still plenty more to get to on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. That's a real song. Hopefully people can't hear that on the stream. Otherwise, it's illegal.
Getting jacked. You like this?
Yeah, it's one of the calm ones, but yeah. I don't know. And remember, I made this playlist like a year and a half ago. So these
at
are like
least.
outdated songs
Yeah.
by this point. So, all right, cool. I like music. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that.
I
That
got
makes me
you.
feel a lot better. I feel like we're off to a great start
Always room for improvement.
in this segment. Okay. So this story, I was originally, I don't know, maybe the topic still stands here, but it's taken on a bit of a different light. Have you been following what's been going on with Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley?
All I know is he was gambling. There's an investigation. He has not been charged or accused of anything. There's an investigation.
Right. And that's what his lawyers definitely want you to know. Quote, an investigation is not a charge. So this is the ESPN story from several days ago. Federal authorities are investigating Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley on allegations of gambling related to NBA games and prop bets. The allegations are from the 23-24 season when he played for the Bucks. Beasley averaged over 11 points in 79 games that season, and he made a career-high 77 starts. At least one prominent U.S. sportsbook detected unusually heavy betting interest on Beasley's statistics around January of 2024. That's what an industry gambling source told ESPN. A gambling industry source pointed to a game between the Bucks and the Blazers on January 31st of 2024. The odds on Beasley recording fewer than 2.5 rebounds moved significantly at the sportsbook before the game, shortening from around plus 120 to about minus 250, which is a giant flip due to a surge of action on the under. Beasley finished with 6 rebounds, and the bets that were deemed unusual lost. Beasley's attorney, Steve Haney, told ESPN, an investigation is not a charge. Malik is afforded the same right of the presumption of innocence as anyone else under the U.S. Constitution. As of now, he has not been charged with anything. These are surrounding player props, and a conversation evolves about like the original conversation that we were going to have on this show was around the idea that every single one of these stories should continue to prove the point of why it's actually more protected the more regulated it is, right? People see these stories and the immediate reaction, it's become almost a meme, I think, on social media where people will say, guys, we got breaking news. Malik Beasley has been suspended, is under investigation by the NBA because of gambling. That's right here on the FanDuel Sports Network. We're back after an advertisement from ESPN Bet after this. I see the irony in it. I understand it. That doesn't mean that it's bad. That doesn't mean that, it's weird that it's there. It's odd that it's there. But that doesn't make the experience for the players, more likely that they are, succumbing to these things, these pressures for people to bet on their games and stuff like that. Everyone wants to point to the fact that it's so talked about and the gambling market is so saturated or whatever. And yeah, I agree. I don't need to hear about player props or lines every 5 seconds as a viewer. There's a lot of networks that won't do that for you. That's great. I watch those. Those are the more the mainstream ones. If you want to learn about all the angles as a bettor, then there are options for you in that category as well. But the players have every single bit of education and now know exactly what the consequences are. If they take the risk and they try to shave points, they try to help a buddy out or whatever, it's not because of the fact that we talk about it all the time. And it's definitely not the fact that sports betting is now widely legal in America. That's not why we see the increase of it happening. I think people are making that connection and that correlation, and I don't believe that.
This never would have happened if ESPN would have just stopped talking about lines
Stop
during
doing
games.
ESPN bets.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is the more legal it is, and the more, I guess public it is, I think the more difficult it makes. And once again, him potentially getting caught here or being under investigation proves that point even further. But this story now has taken on a bit of a different light. There's some reporting for the Detroit News yesterday. Yes, Malik Beasley is indeed under investigation by both the NBA and, federal agents. But this is from Robert Snell of the Detroit News. Malik Beasley thrived in the court last season for the Pistons while he was coping with a federal gambling investigation and more than $8 million worth of financial problems that include being sued twice by his Detroit landlord and having part of his Pistons paycheck seized. Court records obtained by the Detroit News paint a picture of a turbulent personal life as Beasley experienced a career breakthrough with the Pistons last year. And while debts mounted from a celebrity barber, a dentist, a landlord, and a lender and a marketing firm. Basically, Malik Beasley owed a lot of people a lot of money. Throughout last year. The court records and details about a years-long history of financial problems are emerging, as they will continue to, because the FBI is going to continue looking into Malik Beasley for the gambling stuff. But it's focused on wire fraud, gambling, and prop bets. Beasley, who has signed NBA contracts worth more than $59 million during his career, has not been charged with any wrongdoing, but the Pistons have pulled back on a 3-year, $42 million offer amid the FBI investigation involving him, according to a source familiar with the offer, who requested anonymity because they're not authorized to speak on the matter. Last year, he signed a $6 million deal with Detroit. And so basically this adds to the story that he was during his career breakout year with the Pistons last year. He was doing this under deep financial duress and potentially more, I think is the intimation based off of that, right? If if a lot of people want a lot of money from you from a lot of different sides, you're probably not just dealing with it in like people are calling you all the time. They're probably, and if it's that much money, they're probably like finding a way to get to you. So it adds,
or the people you love.
So it adds to the idea that, it paints a picture of a desperate person who is trying to dig his way out of a bit of a hole here.
Malik Beasley
This does not help.
his thumbs.
This does not help Malik Beasley's case, in my opinion. I'm no investigator, Josh, but it does not help his case.
Ooh, no, it does not.
In this situation,
it really creates a clear-cut motive for.
I just wonder
why
where
would you bet on NBA games.
I just where did he? How did he lose all that money? How did he not have all that money to pay the dentist? The dentist was one of the people. The dentist, the landlord, pay your rent. And apparently all the money wasn't there, so he felt the need to gamble or, funnel money back to himself from shorting his own props. I mean, that's nuts. That's crazy.
Probably quite a few hangers on.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe we'll learn more about this a little bit later on. In March, Beasley was sued in Detroit's 36th District Court for failing to pay $14,150 in rent at the Stott, where he lives in downtown Detroit. The lawsuit was dismissed later that month, but last month, Beasley was sued again by the same place for failing to pay $7,300 in rent. And a hearing is scheduled for 2 weeks from yesterday. In January, a celebrity barber shop with a long roster of NBA stars won a $26,000 judgment against Beasley. The barber shop, Cairo Cuts, operates in Milwaukee, where Beasley played for the Bucks from 2022 to 2024. He owed $26,000 to his barber.
Whoa.
And in January, a Minnesota dentist won a $35,000 default judgment against Beasley, according to court records. The dentist of Delicate Smiles in Minneapolis started garnishing Beasley's paychecks from the Pistons in February.
Garnishing his paycheck.
Yes. The debt has not been satisfied, according to court records.
I mean, this just sounds like financial illiteracy. Like,
hey,
hey,
something horrible has gone wrong here.
Hey, can I get a haircut? Yeah, sure. Go. Your friends, everybody go to I got money. The money's never going to run out.
No.
The money did run out.
Great point here from RDJ fan.
Hi, RDJ fan.
I wish I gave a bleep about this topic. It would be far more enjoyable.
Well, yes, if you
cared about it, it would
yes.
be more enjoyable. That is actually true. If you don't care about it, it's probably not that enjoyable. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll be back after this on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Oh. All right, welcome back. More on the Connor Happer Show. You're on 6. I gotta stop getting surprised by these now. 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com.
Stack Natural.
Connor Happer, Josh Johnson with you. Doesn't it give you a nice little boost of energy though? No, you don't care. You don't hear it.
It's your show. You want it. It helps you. I'm here to help.
Thank you, Josh.
I'm John Stockton.
Very diplomatic.
You're Carl Malone.
Very diplomatic. Hey, here's something that we probably won't spend much time on.
Okay.
But it's fascinating to me. Maybe it's not to you all. Why did Paul Feinbaum why did he say that about Arch Manning?
What did he say, Connor?
Okay, so if you haven't seen this, like, I don't know, my natural inclination was just to brush this off the side. And then I really thought about how absurd it was that he said this. He went on Get Up yesterday and talked about college football. And of course, they asked about guess who? Fart Manning. I like to call him Fart Manning.
Because his name is Arch.
He's fine. He hasn't done anything to deserve me calling him Fart, but I just think it's funny to say that word.
He's got legs. No one in his family had legs.
Yeah, he apparently can run, or at least the college age version of him can. Quote, what's the ceiling for him? Quote, the absolute roof. I think there's a reasonably good chance that Arch Manning will be sitting on the front row in New York at the Heisman ceremony. That's assuming that his team does what it's supposed to do and competes not only for the SEC, but for the national championship. And I believe that they will. I believe also that Arch Manning is the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow entered the scene in 2006. And oh my goodness, there is a picture with Arch Manning. I'm reading from this New York Post article. There's a picture of Arch Manning and Sean Eichhorst. He works at Texas.
Remember, really? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I think he's been there for a long time now. Yeah. I didn't know he was still there.
AD's failing up.
He looks like he's happy to be hanging out with Sean Eichhorst, to be honest with you. Gets on the energy bus. So let me just give you a quick little rundown here. Arch Manning last year, in his redshirt freshman season at Texas,
Hit me with it.
was the backup quarterback. Nothing he could do, right? He's playing behind Quinn. He threw for nearly 1,000 yards, 939 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also ran for, you would have, what would you guess? How many yards would you guess Arch Manning ran for last year?
Whoa.
Because I feel like every time I saw him, he was running up and down that thing. It was crazy.
400 yards.
108.
Oh my God. That's a lot for a Manning, but not a lot for a college football player.
So over his career, he has amassed a grand total of about 1,100-ish total yards, 1,100 to 1,200-ish total yards. That's passing and running. Would you say that is very Tim Tebow-esque? He comes with a lot of fanfare.
Oh.
Because his name is Manning, and he was a really highly recruited guy, and he certainly is very, very talented.
Well, okay, so you're taking this a different way than I am.
What do you think?
I'm taking this as it doesn't matter what his play is on the field. He will become a massive, inescapable celebrity.
Oh, really?
That's the way I took he'll be the next Tim Tebow.
Oh, I think Tim Tebow, I just think really, really awesome college football quarterback. I think like one of the best college football quarterbacks I've ever seen.
I think inescapable sports story like a Jeremy Lin or a Tim Tebow.
Interesting.
Like a comet streaking across the sky that you will be sick of hearing about Arch Manning in T-minus 6 weeks.
He's not like that though. He's not going to say stuff.
Famous. No, he's not going to give you anything, but famous family, plays at Texas. Like he's going to get talked to every week. You're going to know what his line is, whether you watch the game or not.
I know. I already saw him do a whole bunch of stuff, and he was their backup quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Like they would show highlights from their crap FCS games just to show him running around.
That's right.
Which I don't really understand the infatuation.
He's
like,
a Manning.
I guess
Manning's work at ESPN.
I guess I understand that part, Josh, but like
ESPN works for the SEC.
Yeah, no, I know it makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but nothing he's ever done from like it's the same thing as Bronny.
That's correct.
It's the same thing as Bronny.
That's correct.
Now, I think Arch is really good and he's really talented, and he'll end up having a better, football playing career than LeBron James Jr. from a basketball playing career standpoint. But neither of those guys ever say anything. They're not dynamic personalities. They don't have opinions on things. They just happen to be the son or nephew of famous people. And so I don't understand why.
Other than that one time, did Tim Tebow ever say anything?
I mean, Tim Tebow. Which one time?
The thing that's etched on the wall at the swamp.
Yeah, you will never, ever see anyone ever work as hard as me, ever.
That speech is corny as hell, but man,
It is.
Put it right in my veins.
Seriously. Tim Tebow kind of rocked in college. The NFL version of Tim Tebow has given Tim Tebow a bad vision here. And the baseball playing version of Tim Tebow.
You want your quarterback in a post game to just go, hop on, boys. I'm taking us the rest of the way.
Like literally, we will never. I want to go grab the quote. We will never ever.
You will never feel like this again. I guarantee it. Hop on.
Tim Tebow, you will never. 14 years ago, Tim Tebow made the promise. That's what they call it, the promise. It even has a title.
That's how you know
Josh,
it's impactful.
That's how awesome it is. Quote, I just want to say one thing to the fans and everybody in Gator Nation. I'm sorry. Extremely sorry. We were hoping for an undefeated season. That was my goal. It's something Florida's never done here, but I promise you one thing. A lot of good will come out of this. You have never seen any player in the entire country play as hard as I will play for the rest of this season. And you'll never see someone push the rest of his team as hard as I will push everyone the rest of this season. You will never see a team play harder than we will the rest of the season. God bless.
Red meat.
It's perfect.
Now picture a sweaty,
perfect
Glenn Powell saying that into a microphone in a movie.
Yes.
Sign the rights away, Tim Tebow.
Guess who's not doing that speech?
Arch Manning.
Correct. There's nothing like magnetic about him. Right? It's just the fact that his last name is Manning.
Yeah, if his name was Jeff Smith, you'd be like, okay. Yeah,
like, do people actually care about this? Or like, I'm interested in him as a player because I think he's going to be a really good player and he's going to be the starting quarterback in Texas. That's a big deal. That's a lot of weight to have on your shoulder. I am not interested in him from the perspective of he's a Manning.
I think a lot of people are going to be.
Why? Why do we care about that?
Why
do we care about LeBron?
Why does America care about celebrity?
Great question. I don't know the answer to that either.
It's built-in IP. You don't want new stars. You don't want new people. You don't want new movies. You don't want new shows. You want things you're familiar with.
Yeah.
New versions of things you're familiar with.
New versions of old things.
Yeah.
I don't think Arch Manning is... every time I see Arch Manning do anything, it's like he's being dragged to the thing.
Yeah.
He's like, Arch, why don't you go show your face at this thing, and then we'll take you back home, okay? Okay, sounds good.
He's borderline like bad at the ancillary stuff you need to do as a quarterback.
I feel bad for him because I've never heard him say a damn thing. He doesn't deserve. He doesn't want this much attention. There's no way he does. It's the same thing with LeBron's kid. LeBron's kid doesn't want that much expectation on him. He hasn't said a damn word. He just so happens to be in the unfortunate position of being compared to his dad, who's the greatest who's the greatest player of all time, or the second, or whatever. Sorry. We don't have to do that topic alert today.
We could do it tomorrow.
We could do it tomorrow, though. That's a tomorrow thing. A couple of things. Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I don't think Arch will ever be able to meet the crazy expectations he's getting with barely playing so far. I mean, it's not his fault he's barely playing so far. He's done well in what he's done so far. I think he'll be fine at Texas this year. He'll be a good quarterback. But that's kind of a wild thing to say by Mr. Feinbaum. And he's a wild guy.
He's doing it for clicks.
He probably is doing it for clicks. Greg and Hastings.
Hi, Greg and Hastings.
Producer Josh here for corny quotes. Producer Josh works as hard as a hobo working on a ham sandwich. What does that mean?
Hobos work really hard for ham sandwiches.
That's you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. Whoa, what's this about? Did Arch Manning do something?
No, you wish.
That'd be awesome.
By now, we all know the news that the New York Knicks have agreed to terms with Mike Brown to be their head coach. That's not the breaking news. The breaking news comes from the Zodiac GM.
Oh, yes.
Mike Brown is a Pisces. Jalen Brunson is a Virgo. Pisces and Virgo synergy, A+.
Okay.
Other notable Pisces and Virgo connections: Shaq and Phil Jackson, Nikola Jokic and Michael Malone, Shaq and Kobe.
Whoa, those are some good combos.
Could I interest you in a Knicks future?
How about Arch Manning and Steve Sarkisian?
Oh, great.
Are those two
Yeah.
comparable?
Let's. I have to look up their birthdays.
No, I don't know what their signs are.
What's April 27th?
No idea. I barely know what mine is.
Steve Sarkisian is March 8th. What are those signs?
That's probably close. I don't know.
We need a list on this.
All right. We'll take a quick break here. A couple other things to hit before we get out of here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, Josh, I want to remind people that 1620 The Zone is teaming up with the Salvation Army in their annual Back to School program. Back to school season is just ahead. Yes, believe it or not. And the program that we're talking about is focused on giving children in need the tools to succeed for a brighter future. And it's successful because of you all. More than 250,000 backpacks have been given away over the life of the program. So those wanting to donate can drop off new school supplies from June 30th to August 3rd at select Methodist Health Systems locations, Metro Credit Union locations, Cubbies, convenience stores, and Salvation Army locations. Things like backpacks, rulers, notebooks, erasers, glue, crayons, colored pencils, stuff that kids take to school. If you want more details on how you can help, head to 1620thezone.com. All right. So what was that call about, by the way?
That
Josh?
was Greg and Hastings.
Greg and Hastings. Shout out Hastings.
Pointed me to a certain YouTube channel to go to get corny quotes.
What do you think?
Might have to spend the afternoon doing some research on corny quotes like Tim Tebow.
So it has. Does it put like those? Because I've seen those where they take these quotes and then they put like the motivational, kind of like views of a mountain or something like that behind it. Is that what Greg is talking about?
I guess I don't know. Oh, the best of Bob Green. This is what he was talking about. Dream of it. Got to get to the State Farm ad.
Jake from State Farm. Thank you, Caitlin Clark. Appreciate it.
This is just a local news report. And this must be a local Montana State coach. Montana Tech, excuse me. Just saying things. It's just a montage of him saying things on the local news. I'm going to have to check that out later.
Turn that on full blast. I mean, it's almost time to go into hype video time.
Right.
Back in the day, like when I was in high school and college or trying to get ready for like the football season or something like that, there would only be a select amount of videos that were out there made by, who had the technology and the steady hands to put together a video like that. Now everyone can make a hype video. People do hype videos on their phones. I feel like we're oversaturated with hype videos. There's hype videos for like,
we're overdue for a new Nebraska hype video.
Yeah, but it's got to be really, really good.
I don't think
it's got to be
actually.
made by Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean, there used to be some
clanging and banging in the weight room.
Did you used to have a favorite Nebraska football epic hype video that you really enjoyed just ripping off before the games?
No.
Really?
Not really.
Do you have a favorite hype video of all time?
The ones I make for 1620 The Zone.
Oh, come on. You got some videos that you just go to every once in a while when you need. You know what? I'm going to watch this.
I'm going to watch this. No, I can't think of.
All right, so I could think of a couple. So there was a Husker football one. I can't remember what season it was for, but it was a pretty well done one. It was probably early Bo era, like middle of Bo era, somewhere around there. They put a bunch of highlights to like a Breaking Benjamin song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Breaking Benjamin was just absolutely rocking out during that period of time. No, it was The Red by Chevelle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it made sense because The Red. That video's still got to be out there on YouTube. That video is fantastic. Every once in a while, I go watch they did a video for when Nebraska baseball made the College World Series in 2005.
Hello.
But they put it to so they did highlights from that Miami Super Regional and they put it to a Foo Fighters song, I think.
Love that.
Absolutely fantastic. That's a good one. There's a whole bunch of great hype videos from when the Royals were good in 2014 and 2015.
People forget.
Sometimes, obviously, I just go back and watch the 8th and 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th innings of the American League wildcard game from that year.
Whoa, guys, Chevelle is coming to the Steelhouse.
Perfect. You could ask him to do a hype video. And then, occasionally I'll go watch some. I think probably 2 or 3 times a year I watch Creighton make a bunch of threes against Villanova in 2014. But that's not a hype video. That's just something I really enjoy doing.
Is this just 2005 Alamo Bowl clips?
Which one? The Chevelle one?
Yeah.
Probably. 2005? So this is for like the 2006 season?
Yeah. This is
I watch this video a lot, Josh.
The quality of the video is not good.
No, it's horrendous.
2005 was a wild time. We thought we were technologically advanced.
Dude, 2005 Alamo Bowl. Oh, yeah. They all from the classic Big Ten game. Yep. Jeff writes in, there were some pretty sick videos for that 2014. I bet
that was
there
a time. We got to go back to that time in
I
life.
bet there were. And then afterwards, because we have forever had the shot of the student section with holding up the sign that said "Welcome to your worst nightmare."
Mhm.
I think didn't they try to do that a couple years ago, and it almost, or was it for the Colorado game last year? They did "Welcome to your worst nightmare" again. Like, it wasn't quite as cool, but it was still pretty cool. Lock it in. Games like that, Josh. Don't have them much anymore. Damn conference realignment.
Nobody bothers to make this stuff anymore. You just depend on the school.
Yeah. Yeah. And they do a really good job.
They do a really good job, but you could do it too.
By the way, couple things here. We're checking out. We're dipping in on some Tigers Nats from DC from Navy Yard. Tigers 10, Nationals 0. As we head to the bottom of the fourth inning, there might be 40 people at this game.
Riley Green has hit 2 3-run homers for the Tigers today.
Yeah, the Tigers are a runaway freight train at this point. The Nationals are bad. There's nobody at this game. What I remember from going to a Nationals game a couple times. We went for like a weekend, so we went to a couple night games and a day game. But I think it was the Friday night game. It was amazing to watch. 7th or 8th inning rolls around. Game's rolling on a little bit long. 7th or 8th inning rolls around. All of a sudden, everybody gets up and files out of the stadium. Like, what is going on? This is a good game. Why wouldn't you want to be here? Half the people in the stadium got up to get on the train because that was the last train out of Navy Yard. And they
got no way home.
They have to deal with it every single game.
Well, one of the reasons there may not be many people here is this is the last night's game was postponed.
Okay, so it's a doubleheader situation.
Yeah, so everyone who had a ticket to this game today wanted to go to the game last night.
Gotcha. Very few people were able to make both work, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fair enough. There's not many people there. A couple things on YouTube videos. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Do you remember the dumb video from Nebraska that did "If These Walls Could Talk"?
That rings a bell.
Yes. I don't know what it was about, but I do remember making fun of it a lot. Like, I think I made a parody hype video.
Hell yeah.
Like, inside the walls of the radio station. If these walls could talk, they would say that it smells in here or something like that, you know? Text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
One of the first internet videos I ever saw was Bobby Newcomb highlights from 1997. What a great legacy.
Whoa.
What a great legacy.
Put this in your notes.
Okay.
First, for topic alert tomorrow.
Topic alert.
First YouTube video you remember watching.
That's a great topic. We could spend at least 20 minutes on that.
Because I was in college the day that Janet Jackson bared her breast to the world, whether accidentally or purposefully.
Would you consider that a YouTube video?
YouTube did not exist. And it was the thing that made the guy who created YouTube go, we need a place where people can watch this.
Really? Is that actually the origin story of YouTube?
Yes.
They wanted to be able to watch the Janet Jackson thing again?
They wanted to put the clip on a site for people to come and watch because everyone wanted to see it.
You're saying that YouTube is inherently horny?
Bonk.
Whoa, I did not know that. There's got to be a Netflix documentary about that somewhere, right?
That would make sense.
There has to be. Interesting. Okay. Put it on topic alert list for tomorrow. Okay. Best or favorite like original YouTube video or something adjacent to that conversation.
The first thing you remember somebody going, it's on YouTube. And you're like, what? What's YouTube?
Plaquette, you nailed it. It's that. It's unforgivable. Unforgivable.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Seriously.
When I said first YouTube video.
Okay, it sounds like that's actually everyone's.
Why are you talking like that? What are you saying?
How did that guy? I mean, what an incredible confluence of events for that guy to have one of the most popular YouTube videos of all time. If he did that video today, it would mean nothing. It would do nothing.
It would do numbers on TikTok for 12 hours and then people would forget about it.
Yeah. Wow. But turns out that's just everybody's moment. Everybody around our age, I guess. All right, one more thing here before we get out of here, Josh.
Oh my gosh, that guy's dead.
Who's dead?
Oh, the cameraman.
The unforgivable guy?
Yeah.
No, he's alive.
Okay.
Right?
The cameraman is dead, I believe. I don't know why that would be news.
Get some waffle fries. Chick-fil-A at the mall.
And then I thought at the time, I was like, oh, wow, he can get Chick-fil-A. I couldn't get Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I didn't even know what Chick-fil-A. That was probably how I learned about
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A.
yeah.
Poll question. Did you learn about Chick-fil-A from the Unforgivable video?
Great poll question.
Yeah.
We will revisit that one.
Yeah, because I definitely learned that Chick-fil-A existed from that guy. I'm like, what is Chick-fil-A? What is he talking about?
They didn't sponsor things. They weren't a
No,
national
they
brand.
They were
Like,
nowhere.
kids, Chick-fil-A used to not be a thing.
It is really difficult
be
to
Whataburger.
It is really difficult to imagine us not having Chick-fil-A in our lives, even though this is a fairly new concept.
Yeah.
To the Omaha Lincoln area. What? Less than 10 years?
Yeah, I would imagine it came to Omaha less than 10 years ago.
Yeah. Crazy. And now now you can't imagine your life without it. That's ridiculous. People tweeting me YouTube videos now, which is fantastic.
Save it for tomorrow.
These will be great topic alerts. Jeff says, well, I mean, once again, we can revisit this during topic alert tomorrow, but Greg Jennings put the team on my back. That's a great YouTube video. Sleeping leg. Alex Lincoln says Greg Jennings put the team on his back. That's pretty good.
I have to watch 2 ads before I can watch the Team Magic parody video.
You got the Magic at QB?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic YouTube video. How many views does the Unforgivable video have?
Oh, okay.
Check. Go. How many ads would you have to watch before you have to watch the Unforgivable video?
The first one that came up is number 3, so I'm just going to 18 years ago. 10 million.
10 million. 10 million. People like you and I are probably 50 apiece.
Yeah.
How long is the video? Like 2.5 minutes?
Not even. It's 1:54.
Wow. Beautiful.
We cannot play it on the air.
No, we cannot. We cannot. Here's one. Josh is listening to it right now. He's watching.
Get some hot dogs or something.
Sam writes in.
Hi, Sam.
And Dan Sharper. I wonder what he's up to these days. What is Darren Sharper up to? Dan Sharper. One of the most hardest hitting safeties in the league. That was from the Greg Jennings video. Okay. All right. Please save your comments about YouTube videos for Topic Alert Day tomorrow. Josh and I will have a scintillating conversation about this. I promise. But I was going to get to this from the Omaha World Herald.
Oh, sorry.
A lovely local paper.
We had a topic.
Nah, we do, but it'll only take about 5 minutes. So this is from Ben Duty.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm a child. I'm a child.
I don't know. I don't know what Ben's regular job is, but he's writing from the fan perspective about Husker football this year, and he's soliciting readers' thoughts on the upcoming season. And so his job was to go around and ask fans how excited they are for the upcoming season. And stick with me here. I'll read you a couple quotes. Here's the first one. Bob from Omaha said he's been a Husker fan since the 70s. Check. Said expects Nebraska to improve to 9-4 or even 10-3. Bob said the Huskers have a manageable schedule and he tries to go to one game a year. In bad years, I go to a home game, and in good years, I like to travel. I'm looking at traveling this year to a game, so I'm expecting a road win. There you go. Terry.
That's probably a lot of people, right?
Definitely. Yeah, you get
barometer.
More into your team based on how good they are. I think that's pretty normal, right? Terry lives in Colorado now, but Terry had some perspective. For a people in a state to pour the unmatched level of energy, passion, and resources into a program only to be continuously and ever more egregiously embarrassed is almost unexplainable. But Terry had some prayerful expectations of the Huskers putting out a product that fans can be proud of. Can't wait for the season. He finished off his email with. Mark said his expectation was for the team to be at 8 or 9 wins. but also said we're a 7-win team until we aren't. And then another Gordon said, I think most fans have higher expectations for each team over the last 10 plus years than have been delivered. Maybe this year will be the year they finally meet expectations or even overachieve. Wouldn't that be fun? And then the article ends from there. Josh, what do you think about Husker fans saying that they are cautiously optimistic about this year's team? Is that interesting at all to you?
Now there are some news stories that you just do every year.
Delivery driver Doug, by the way,
They're
says
the
Ben
same.
Duty is the editor. Period.
Oh,
we can check this out, but that might be the case.
I mean, this is I don't think I needed to do the research that Mr. Duty did.
I agree.
I could have went on that limb for him.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know, maybe it's in what we do every day. It's actually relatively easy to gauge the pulse of the Husker fan right now.
They'll tell you.
It's pretty much like, I would say the default. What is the default emotion or the default attitude toward the Husker football team by Husker football fan? I could describe it one way. Nick Grimm would describe it the exact same way. Cautiously optimistic.
Oh, cautiously subscribe.
People would be cautiously subscribing. They would be, at the beginning of every year, the most common thing we hear is, yeah, I think this could be really the year where they finally jump up and they win, 8, 9, 10 games or whatever the expectation is. But, until they do that, then I'm probably, just going to stand over here on the side. And that'll be cool.
So many of us in August go, well, I'm probably an idiot for saying this, but
yeah,
I think they could win 9 or 10.
I don't think that feels any different than any other year going into it.
Especially recently. That's what we were talking about the other day with we kind of framed it differently where they're going to lose a game they shouldn't. What's the game? That's sort of the same thing here is, well, I think they're going to win 8, but maybe I'm an idiot.
There you go. John says he is the executive editor. That's what Ben is.
So he's got his name on a door.
And Jeff writes in, I am such a child. I chuckle every time you guys say duty. That's Josh.
Me too.
That's Josh.
I wasn't right. I didn't know who we were talking about. And then that name comes up.
Sam wonders if Larry and Lexington got interviewed. Holla at your boy. I don't think so. Not quoted in this article.
This seems like hey, we're doing a story on blah, blah, blah. If you have a take on the Huskers this year, email us at news.
The point of this was to not talk about the story. The point of this was just to say, I don't think this is an uncommon place
we all
for
feel
Husker
this way.
fans to be in as it pertains to the season. I don't feel like it's very much different than it has been really since, I don't know, maybe since like Frost got hired. The people are excited, like super duper fever pitch excited when Frost got hired.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since then, it's just been like, yeah, I think we'll be probably pretty okay this year. Maybe we could jump up and get a couple more.
It is July 2nd. We have turned the corner from, I don't know what they're going to do. We're kind of going up that roller coaster now, right?
Yep.
Like getting hyped. It's like, maybe 7.
Get ready.
In a couple weeks, maybe 8. Ooh,
Get ready.
I could talk myself into 9.
Get ready. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you don't need people to go up that side rail on the tall roller coaster and get you off the ride.
That's right.
Because the ride is broken. All right. We'll be back. We got the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on the other side on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, analysis, and commentary in a clean, concise, and disease-free way.
See there?
What a relief. Thank God.
Wonderful.
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
At J-Tech Construction and Solar, they do it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, gutters, and solar. As the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers, they take pride in protecting homes and powering the future. J-Tech is hiring. They're searching for motivated sales reps in Omaha and a front desk superstar to join the team. Great pay, uncapped commissions for sales reps, and a winning company culture. J-Tech Construction and Solar, proudly the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. YourExteriorExperts.com.
All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Let's go to the polls, Josh. What are we cooking today? Is Sylvester Stallone a good actor? This will be interesting.
Matt.
I don't think so. There are others that do. There are people who know film and know movies who say, yes, I think he actually is pretty good.
I know film. I know movies.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I say no as well. 56.5% say no. 57% say no. Close. I would imagine it would have been close.
You were right that it was close.
Do you know the way? Here's a poll question that we did today.
This was a bonk, wasn't it?
Do you know the way? Yeah, because we were talking a lot about Hooters.
Yeah.
We were talking about Hooters.
Gary and Matt were talking about
it. Always gets to Hooters with those guys. Yeah, I know the way. 68% say yes. Does Matt McMaster look like the kind of guy who needs his cabin air filter replaced? Yeah.
Yeah.
93% say yes. That's pretty overwhelming, Josh.
That's very overwhelming.
Do you have the pick itch? What was that about?
We haven't made picks in so long.
I need to make picks. I need to make picks. I have the pick itch. 71% say no, they probably didn't understand. And finally, did you learn about Chick-fil-A from the Unforgivable YouTube video?
It's possible.
I think I might have. 90% so far say no.
Wow.
Up to 91
Children.
now.
Your children.
Well, I mean, maybe they're saying that they knew about Chick-fil-A before the Unforgivable guy.
Nah, you didn't know.
Okay.
They didn't have it here.
Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
We are watching the Major League Baseball. There's 18 games today, believe it or not.
So many games.
So many games. The All-Star starters will be announced on Baseball Tonight at 6 o'clock on ESPN.
Yeah, it sounds like Bobby Witt Jr. is not going to win.
Oh, no.
He's going to lose to that guy who never strikes out on the A's.
Stop the steal. An A? He's going to lose to an A?
He's going to lose to an A.
A nomad? Wow. Then that episode of Baseball Tonight will be followed by a baseball game on ESPN in the middle of the week.
Baseball.
Guardians Cubs. Remember when they...
Oh, they went in the World Series once.
That's right. Remember that? 7 o'clock start time at Wrigley tonight. And then the Dodgers host the White Sox at 9 o'clock on MLB Network. The Fighting Caitlin Clarks are finally at home.
Oh, by the way, Josh, can you explain this to me?
Okay.
So... what I just heard about the WNBA is that the All-Star game voting was happening.
That's right, Connor.
Okay. So why did I also see people celebrating with champagne in a locker room last night? The only time I see the NBA stuff is from, like, the WNBA stuff is from just random happenings on Twitter, scrolling through my FYP.
Well, Red Panda died in the middle of the Lynx Fever game yesterday.
Prayers
to that was the Commissioner's Cup championship.
Okay.
The Fever won their first Commissioner's Cup in franchise history last night. That is the equivalent of the NBA Cup or whatever it's called now.
I was also
weird
thinking,
courts.
So they have a regular season tournament.
Yes.
Got it. Second question. When does the WNBA season end?
Oof. March. He said, completely unsure of the actual answer.
Try September.
Cool.
Almost the exact opposite.
Oh yeah,
Josh.
it starts in like April because the college players don't get any
no,
time
because the
off.
season like started in April,
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah.
It's a very confusing sport, Josh. Very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Wimbledon is going on right now. There's nobody good left in the tournament.
Yep, it's over.
But they will press on and do day 4 tomorrow on ESPN.
What does this mean for the famous people showing up to the Wimbledon?
Well, they're going to have to eat strawberries and cream and watch a bunch of losers play tennis.
Sucks for them.
Mm-hmm. John Cena's there right now, believe it or not. And a couple of movies you might like to stream as your holiday vacation gets underway. Independence Day is on Hulu or Disney Plus, whichever you prefer.
Nice.
The Jurassic Park / Twister movies are on Peacock.
Jurassic Park / Twister. I'm glad you said it that way. That was interesting.
That's how it. I'm just trying to relate it to you, Connor.
I'm not going to watch them, but I'm glad that you included them together.
That's right,
because I think that's correct.
Twister is not on Peacock, but
really?
It's the same thing.
So, but Jurassic Park, which is kind of like Twister, is.
Yes.
And apparently there's a new Jurassic Park.
That's right, Connor.
Got it. A lot of stuff to get straight here in the What to Watch segment. Thank you, Josh.
We learned a lot. Thank you, Connor.
We did. That's it for us today. If you missed anything, you could find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.